And welcome back to Views from the Sidelines.
Yes, sir.
We are back, and we're missing one of our guys, unfortunately.
R.I.P. Edward.
Yes.
He's not actually dead.
No, I know. He's not dead.
We miss him.
He just couldn't be here today, but it's okay. He's actually sending us a message from the great beyond.
He will. We will hear from him. I actually didn't listen to it because I want to be.
Me neither. I wanted to wait
be
too.
surprised. You'll see my live reaction too.
Okay.
I'm sure I know who it's about though.
Oh yeah. I think we all knew. I saw a little thing. He had a little jab towards someone in the group, but I won't say who. But yeah, man, we're back. Lots of stuff kind of happened over the weekend. I mean, we are a few games away from the postseason, dude.
Yeah,
like
can't wait.
We're a week away.
Next week, the episode the play-in games will be starting. So
Yeah, there will be a game while we are alive next week.
Yeah,
literally. And we'll be giving later on in the episode, we'll be giving our play-in predictions, so far. But let's get right to it, man. This out of the gate, what happened that was all over social media, boom.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic is officially out for the rest of the regular season because he got an insane grade 2 hamstring strain towards the first half. I want to say, was it the first half or the second half of the OKC game?
It was the second half, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. It was the second half. They were getting blown out anyway, but Stephen A went out and said that, oh yeah, he got injured, or he was faking an injury. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
like
that's poor taste.
Poor taste indeed. And it's just now he's along with a ton of other ineligible players that are notable. You got Cade, you got Ant now as well, who's out with an injury relating to his knee. That's Timberwolves. Insiders are saying that they're worried it's kind of similar to the Steph injury that put him out about 2 months.
Yeah.
So with him, Luka, and Cade also out, the 65 game rule is in place for sure. And the Lakers. Oh, not to mention that Austin Reeves is also out for the Lakers. With I believe it was an ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Ankle that looks like it was a 4 to 6 week recovery.
Yeah, he would be able to come
some trouble.
He would be able to come back at the earliest for the beginning of the conference finals.
Yeah.
Which they will not be making.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of funny you say that. And of course, another thing that happened, Wembanyama also went down with a bruised rib. I mean, all these late injuries to all these great players, and it is insane how this is just snowballing towards this end of the season, where we had the conversations about the 65 game rule earlier on the show, and it seems like it's getting put on blast.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amplifying each time we have these new injuries for these star players, and it's never something we want to see. There's a lot of guys going down this year, and I do think, yes, the 65 game rule is kind of dumb. I agree. I think it should be changed, but I think the buzz around it right now is also partly due to because we're seeing kind of an unprecedented amount of star injuries sort of clumped into one time period.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's not something you want to see as an NBA fan. You want to see the best players play on the best teams. But hopefully come playoff time, we could see some Luka action. Wemby, obviously, he's not out long term. He's just kind of on the cusp of that 65 game thing, but he will be playing in the playoffs regardless, as long as, he stays healthy throughout the rest of the year.
For sure. Yeah. For Wemby too, it's like he technically, the rule is that you have to play about like 20 plus minutes to be eligible for a game.
Yeah.
He played 16 minutes and 40 seconds, and the league says that they're going to let that pass. You have, according to them, every player has about 2, near miss game exceptions. So Wemby's already used both of them essentially. And he's doubtful for tomorrow's game against, I think it's the Blazers.
Yeah.
And there's only, the Spurs only have 2 more games after that. And, if he wants to be a lock, because he's a lock for DPOY this season.
Yeah.
If he makes it 65 games.
He's a heavy favorite.
But if not, like, dude, it's pretty bad. And and not only are the players upset, it's officially like the guys upstairs, or at least the guys that represent the players, are also upset because Luka Doncic and his agent are actually going to challenge the 65 game rule because Luka's only played 64 until his injury due to the extraordinary circumstances exception. And his agent came out and said basically that Luka's having an insane season and this rule is stupid.
Yeah.
That's what he came out and said. And the rule is that, you can't miss that many games, but if the league were to deny this, the exception for Luka's missed games this season would be because he went to go to Spain for his birth of his second child. And if the league just decides to hate on the birth of children, I don't know what else is going to make this rule go away.
Yeah.
I can't imagine them not saying yes to the appeal, because if they did, it would go against everything that the league has established as one, your franchise player or face of the league. To my knowledge, every face of the league has been like a parent or a father figure, a family guy. And if you're saying that they're not going to give the guy that's kind of having a rough year being a family guy, but, being there for at least the birth of his second child, you're going to deny him those opportunities to win the MVP or just all NBA honors just because of that?
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing for Luka is that the season ends in 5 days, and so the appeal cannot go in until those 5 days, and we know that the voters vote right at the end of the regular season. Now, there are rumors that the NBA might delay the actual voting process to accommodate the appeal for Luka, maybe if there is one for Wemby as well and for other players. And so it's just really unfortunate to see how this is really affecting the voting process because of a rule that the league decided to make, and it's had no positive outcomes at all so far. No one, whether it's NBA Twitter or the Players Association, like we see, have any positive thoughts about this. And something that we haven't mentioned yet is that it affects the players too. Wemby is not eligible for a Supermax contract if he does not win an All-NBA award.
Yeah, he was going to get
or Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Getting one of those will earn him a Supermax contract. Now, obviously, he's going to get a lot of money nonetheless, but still, nothing is guaranteed if you're an athlete, especially one his height, who he could have a career-ending injury.
He was having blood clot issues last season.
Yeah, and so you want to lock in as much money as possible, and so having this rule and you're 20 minutes off of getting a Defensive Player of the Year or an All-NBA first or second team like we know he will earn this year, and just missing that by 20 minutes and not being able to get this amount of money or get those awards and just have that is really unfortunate for the league.
Yeah, if Wemby, let's say he goes out and he could technically rest for the rest of the regular season, which most players probably would if there wasn't this rule.
Yeah.
But I could totally see him just putting on a padded chest plate and just kind of, that's the imaginary middle finger to Adam Silver and the guys upstairs. Because it's you really want to make a guy just sit on the court for 15 to 20 minutes just so that he's eligible for this rule.
Yeah.
I've said maybe not take it out, but reducing it to 60 games unironically would have solved a lot of these issues or a lot of these players' chances to being eligible. And it's happening a lot right now on NBA Twitter too.
But even then, if you're not missing an extraordinary amount of games, there's no issue. The voters don't care. I don't think a true voter would care if Luka played 64 games versus 65. We know that.
No, yeah.
Having this rule in place that sets this boundary for one game, and you have such a process to appeal that they have to look back 4 months for one circumstance that will make him eligible. It is just such a hassle, and there is no reason this should be going on.
Yeah,
and we've talked about this a lot in terms of All NBA and MVP. But I also want to highlight it affects a lot of the the DPOY guy or the defensive all defensive team guys.
For sure,
the most improved
KD.
Guys. So no all defensive for some.
You said
serious,
what?
I'm just
no. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. KD should be on that all defensive team.
No,
let him finish.
Isaiah Stewart, Alex Caruso, Marcus Smart, Jalen Suggs, Herb Jones, Tari Eason, Drew Holiday, and Aaron Gordon all are ineligible for all defensive teams.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys would make one of the all defensive teams, right? And then most improved, guys like Keontae George, who took a leap.
Oh, for sure.
Can't win it. An interesting story in Moussa Diabate, because he didn't play at the start of the year. He's not missing it because he because he didn't play in enough games. He's missing it because he didn't play enough minutes at the start of the year.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't playing 15 minutes a game, or he was playing in single digits.
Even that to me doesn't make any sense with the near pass rule or whatever. How does that make sense?
Yeah, and he's
being why have these
he's
rules
improved a ridiculous amount through the year. He was a big part of the turnaround for the Hornets when he starting at the 5. They turned it around, and he went from a guy who most people hadn't heard of or wasn't doing much on the floor to being a starting 5 on a postseason NBA team.
Yeah,
right.
And he can't be a most improved player because he didn't play enough minutes at the start of the year because he played less than 20 minutes a game 14 times at the start of the game.
Yeah, it's not just the top 15 players in the NBA with for example Wemby, Luka, and Cade. It's that means that there's got to be other guys that are better than them that are not top 15 level. It's the guys that are actually improving, and then you give it to a guy that I don't know, he moved from 8 points per game to 12 points per game.
Yeah.
Maybe not to that degree, but it's still an arbitrary rule that has not a lot of backing.
Yeah, and that all defensive team is so important for some of these guys' careers. When your career is based on defense, your team expects you. It's probably in most of their contracts. Incentives for making all defensive teams. And these guys are missing out on money because they're just not able to play the amount of games that's necessary. So
this is something that the Players Association, we could see another strike situation, honestly, if the NBA doesn't respond.
Another my gosh, shutout season? In 2000.
I don't think it would be a full shutout, but I mean, like we mentioned, I think we considered a lot about the awards aspect of it, but we don't consider the money, like Dash said, incentives and contracts. We don't talk about that a lot, especially for players obviously Luka Doncic is making a lot of money off contracts and commercials and advertisements, but other players, lesser known players, might have incentives for all NBA teams or most improved players, and so being able to miss on that because you miss 1 or 2 games is just something that the Players Association I can see standing up for.
Your boy Fred VanVleet might need to make a stand,
brother. Fredo, come on out, man. We need you for this.
President of the Players Association.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness that CJ and Grant Williams stepped down. But unironically, CJ's doing good now, and we'll get that to that later.
Yeah.
When we're talking about the postseason and the bracket. But now that all these injuries are coming up, notably with Ant and with Luka and Reeves. Mm-hmm. There's a bit of a shakeup in the West. I mean, you look at the possible seeding opportunities right now. Here's a list. You got the Spurs and the Thunder in the West. They're going to be guaranteed 1 or 2. I mean, it seems like the Thunder are going to be that one for sure. And then 3 through 6 in the West. It is like a tie. It's everybody's a game behind.
Yeah,
everybody. Tonight, the Lakers could lose to the Thunder, and then the Rockets are at the 4th seed. And then the Nuggets, if they lose enough games, they're down back to the 5. And then whoever moves up from there, it's you're looking at these guys that are injured, and they could be a favorable matchup in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, you also look at your Cavs over here. They're within the range to be even the 5 seed if they're not.
Yeah, I mean they're I think they're either 4 or 5 games ahead of the Hawks. So it would take the Hawks basically going unbeaten and the Cavs not winning a game for the rest of the year.
For sure.
So it's mathematically possible, not gonna happen.
The 5, basically the bottom 5, the bottom 5, the bottom 4.
Yeah,
the East is insanely close.
Yeah, between the Hawks, Sixers, Raptors, Hornets, Magic, and Heat. Any of them could literally finish anywhere.
Yeah, and honestly, if I'm a team or a fan of a team in the East, I just want to know who I'm going to be facing.
Yeah,
so I want to know what your opinion is right now. What is your thoughts about seeing teams like the Hawks potentially, or the Sixers, or the Raptors, or even the Hornets, even that you don't know who you're going to really be able to do a scouting report on before the postseason.
No, it's weird. It's a weird situation as a Cavs fan right now. We're pretty locked into the 4. It's basically guaranteed. I think one more win and we're locked into the 4. And we have a very easy schedule. So it's really a question of, are we pushing for the 3 because we're only a game behind the Knicks? And there's a couple different arguments. The first one is, are you worried about the Hawks? Because the Hawks have been one of the best teams in the league over the last couple months.
No, for sure.
They have been just on an absolute heater.
I mean, take a look at just right now, giving a spotlight on them.
Yeah.
The Hawks, they have been insane. Nickeil Alexander-Walker
is incredible.
He was a guy that was averaging 9 points per game on the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And now he's averaging 20.
Yeah, and
this is one of the highest, most improved player candidates this season.
Oh, when you watch Nickeil Alexander-Walker play,
plays like his cousin.
You genuinely get you see the name.
They mention every time on the air too.
You see the name on the back. You see some of the things he's pulling off. You're like, when did Shea get traded to the Hawks?
Bro,
when did this happen?
It's an insane switch. I mean, we can't maybe see it all of what's going on the screen right now, but they are throughout March. They've been one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah,
they've 17-2 in the last 19 games.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson's looking like a stud.
22, I think, what is it? 22, almost 23, 10-8.
Yeah.
He's an offensive hub. I'm a little scared of the Hawks. And I think I'd imagine that they're going to finish the 5 seed because they've been so good. And so the question is earlier, Cavs seemed to be happy sitting at the 4 because you'd rather play in the second round. You'd rather play the Pistons than the Celtics right now, for sure. But now with the Hawks, looking at the 5 seed, are you a little more aggressive towards pushing for the 3 seed?
I mean, looking at the bracket right now, we have, this is just as of today, the East, Hawks Cavs first round matchup. Instantly, to me, that screams like 6 games. That screams 6 to maybe 7 games.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 5, but
well, of course you're going to say 5.
I just don't think the Hawks actually match up well against the Cavs.
I think a perfect comp for what the Hawks are doing right now is the Pistons last year.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the best young teams in the league, and just seeing a similar, I think the Pistons were the 6th seed last year, and they faced the Knicks, and they gave the Knicks trouble in the first round, like you said, took them to 6 games. So I think the Cavs can't get too mighty and high on their horse right now. They got to prepare for this team. I think
they absolutely
could push for the 3rd seed, but at that point, the Hawks are going to give any team they face trouble. And so I think they're going to be a difficult team to out.
I'll go a step further, man. I don't think that they're just going to be like a Pistons team last year. I think that this team has the potential to have the magic like the Pacers did last season. I think that this team has the grit. They have one of the best defenses. They have an insane pace to their game. And honestly, everybody's looking at them, besides the Raptors, they are underestimating them entirely.
Yeah.
I think that if this was a matchup, if you guys end up playing the Raptors in the first round, easy 5 games. I don't see that there's not really contention there. But the Hawks, like you said, I think they can give anybody a run for the Eastern Conference.
I agree. I just think matchup wise, I think honestly they would much rather face the Knicks, mostly because outside of Onyeka Okongwu,
that's your biggest advantage.
There's no size on this Hawks team. That's where they struggle. And so the 2 big lineup that the Cavs run is going to be trouble.
But at the same time, they are going to get in the passing lane so much with the amount of length that they have on.
It's true. But the Cavs honestly haven't struggled that much with turnovers since picking up James Harden. They are.
We'll see how that works in the playoffs.
They're a lot more solid now, and I think just the 2 big lineup is just not a good matchup for the Hawks. So
I mean, as long as you guys don't get into a Game 7 with James Harden on your roster, that is fine. Avoid that scenario by all costs. You will be okay.
He can put up 15 and we'll win.
But no.
We don't need him. We don't need him to put up 30.
That is so true.
You're going to say that now, but then you're going to be screaming at him to be your second best player when it really matters.
No, I mean, if it came down to that situation, like, I think Cavs fans still expect Evan Mobley to pick up.
Come on. No.
He's been scoring like 25 a game.
So now we're going back on the Evan Mobley train. Like now
he's one of the best big men in the league.
You don't even believe that.
I do. He won Defensive Player of the Year last year.
Yes, that was great. Last year, right. No, of course. I probably can name Well, what is the best center? Are we talking like top 5, top 10?
Well, he's not a center. He's a power forward.
Okay, so big. So like, what is that? What is that to you? Like, how many players is he better than?
How many players is he better than?
Yeah.
I would say he's for sure a top 10 power forward in the league.
Top 10?
You could push him into the top, I think, 7 or 6.
Power forward?
Power forward.
Specifically?
Yeah.
I thought we
Maybe
were
top
talking about
5.
big.
Top 5, probably.
Top 5 easily power forward.
Top 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
He's one of the best defenders in the league.
no. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, he has.
He's, he's still scoring. He's still scoring 19 points a game on 54% from the field. A good like floor spacer. A guy
when that shot is falling.
Yeah, but for the most part, like it's. I mean, he's had a down year shooting the ball. But he's been 37% the 2 years before. He's solid. That's all you need from a big.
But do you think he's postseason ready now? Like,
Yes.
If James Harden is selling and he's not getting anything going, you really can rely on Evan Mobley?
Well, we have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen have both averaged 20 a game in the last 2 months. That's 40 points from just the bigs. Donovan Mitchell, we're not worried about. If you're worried about Donovan Mitchell in the postseason, you don't watch basketball, right? Like Donovan Mitchell in the postseason, that's just not a question.
Oh, of course. He has a really unlucky career.
When
he does.
Relying on, if Harden, I think we talked about this earlier in the year, and we have to see it. But if he is struggling to shoot the ball, I think this is a team where he could just lay back and do what he does best, which is pass the ball and create opportunities for others.
And it's I think his Game 7 struggles. Yes.
And he's playing on a fractured thumb too.
Yeah. Yes, it's hard. The Game 7 struggles to trust him in a Game 7. But also Game 7s are not a huge sample size, first of all. Just over an entire career, even just Game 7 stats in general are not a huge sample size.
Yes, there's
and
not a lot of
been
them, but for a guy that's made the playoffs every single year of his career,
yes,
and you are expected to rise in case those Game 7s happen. You have enough experience to be in this situation.
I agree, but if you're looking at a guy, if you ignore what James Harden's been in the past, I don't think you're saying that about other, second, probably third options on a roster. Oh, are they going to choke in the playoffs? I don't think you're saying that about other guys.
Don't get me wrong. I think that they are probably a top 5-ish duo in the league right now. I don't think that they're top 3, but they're 5. Maybe.
Well, I would argue overall player, I still think Evan Mobley's a better player than James Harden.
Right now, I mean,
yeah. I think he just has such an impact on the game. It's frustrating to watch Evan Mobley as a Cavs fan because we all know so easily he could be that DPOY type player, obviously not compared to Wemby.
Yes.
But the second tier.
Wemby's just too OP, man.
Yeah, Wemby's too OP.
Yeah.
With him playing healthy.
But he should be a guy averaging 24 a game.
He should be. He has all the intangibles.
That's what's frustrating to watch is because he can, and he's shooting, he shoots high splits, and it is someone that you want him to be aggressive, and it's just hasn't, been there for him in the past. But you can't let that take away from the fact that he does average 18 a game. He does, score the ball efficiently, consistently, and impact the game at a high level.
He also doesn't take many shots. That's one of his main issues is that, he can score the ball at high efficiencies when he has it going, but sometimes he just chooses not to.
Yeah.
Well, it's also hard. I feel like the Cavaliers, for a team that relies on Donovan Mitchell and now James Harden, who his role is not to be a volume scorer anymore, but it's still James Harden. So you have not really too many opportunities to get the go-ahead and green light for Evan Mobley to get 22 shots up. I think that's an unfair expectation for him right now, especially what he's had to what the competition that he has in that lineup for shots. But like you guys said, man, I mean, you talked about the Hawks and potentially, seeing if the Cavs want to win out. Just in general, I feel like we are in a situation where every team is maybe thinking, do we win out or do we tank? And especially when it comes to this, I think it has to do with the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Without Anthony Edwards and without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, I think that teams are putting these two teams on targets on their back.
Yeah.
And saying, you know what? Let's get that first round by basically playing Julius Randle and friends and basically playing LeBron, I understand. Listen, you can't turn back time forever. I don't think Bron, as much as I would think it'd be insane, but I think if I see on national television a starting lineup with Bronny James and LeBron James for no reason besides just having the graphic up, that graphic will be. If I see a LeBron James and Bronny James versus Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert graphic, that is probably worse than any other graphic in the postseason we've ever seen. Worse than 2018 Finals graphic. These two teams specifically, I think that they get targets on their back, and I could see the Rockets or the Nuggets just seeing where the cards fall, and honestly, like they might think, you know what, we might not get home court advantage, but we would have a great opportunity to not be worried about a Luka Doncic that's probably going to be in the MVP race if the appeal goes right. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have gone to the Western Conference Finals the last 2 seasons. So, I don't know. Do you guys think that these teams are probably going to, maybe get looked after?
I mean, I think the Lakers for sure. Okay. Just because when you're missing 2 guys, and you're guaranteed to not play Reeves in the first round. You're honestly not probably playing Luka, but if you are playing Luka, it's a very hampered version.
It would probably be a game 5 on by some miracle.
And so,
well, yeah, I mean, if he's getting that weird injection in Spain,
but yeah, definitely targeting the Lakers. I mean, there's still reports on Ant is likely to still try and play in the playoffs.
I think Ant will try, but if the rumors are true that this injury is like kind of related to a Steph knee, that it took him. And again, Steph is like,
well, he's got way younger. Than
he's got Steph. Almost a decade on him.
Yeah.
But that is still pretty concerning. I don't know how I want a guy like that, a slasher like Anthony Edwards, to be going on a buff knee.
Yeah, I mean he's got runner's knee basically.
Yeah,
which is not something you would love to see. But I do think it's something, especially with a guy like Ant, like he's going to play through. And I don't think it's gonna necessarily hamper him in terms of I don't think he's gonna be bad come postseason time. So I would definitely target. I mean the Western teams definitely want to play the Lakers in the first round. Obviously, if you're in that 3 through 6 range, the Lakers are the best matchup right now.
Well, this screen has covered my head. But I mean, if you look at it right now, I'll just go to full screen for this because that's just simpler for us. But if we look at this right now, the Lakers currently is constructed 4 seed, whatever. The Rockets that became very weak towards the end of the season, I think they win that series now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
they win that series easily.
We've seen with the Lakers, especially in the 2 games they beat the Rockets back-to-back, it was the Luka show. And for the past month and a half, the only reason the Lakers jumped to the 3rd seed, the only reason the Lakers jumped up to the 3rd seed was because Luka had a historic March and was averaging almost 40 points a game, And so just without him and their second best scorer in Austin Reeves, they are nothing. And LeBron is still a great NBA player, but he can't carry a team at this age. And a team like the Rockets,
it's really Jover for the Lakers.
Yeah, of course. A team like the Rockets who have the size and athleticism advantage over the Lakers, absolutely, that should be a sweep. To be completely
man. You're probably right. This would probably be the 3rd sweep in LeBron James' career or 4th.
I still think in the West. I still think in the West, it's
why not? Why not?
Why can't you dock him for getting swept? When his whole team is a bunch of nobodies.
I mean, he got docked. He got docked for that against the Spurs in the finals. And
I don't dock him for that. He was 22?
Oh, so now we're gonna give 22-year-old exceptions. But when it's Kevin Durant and company in OKC, it's oh no, they still lost. They were still playing against, they were favored. It's LeBron James, no matter which way you put it, is going to get flack if he gets swept again.
If you criticize LeBron for getting swept against a team who
it's okay. Every legend in the league has been swept.
Except Steph.
Steph, we're going to get to that. We are going to get to that, my friend.
Except Steph.
Because
he just got lost. He'll just lose in the play-in.
I don't want to get lost in the sauce just yet. But I just saw red for a minute. But looking at this again, yeah, the Timberwolves, if you play them against the Nuggets, that's a second round matchup looking at like Spurs Nuggets. And then if you got Rockets OKC, that kind of is like the expected second round matchup. Is that kind of the agreement that we got going on here for the Western Conference?
Yeah, if it holds, it's just like, if the 3 seed, I still think in the West, if the 3 seed is in reach, you got to go for it. Mostly because I just think, yes, the Spurs are very good. But we see it all the time with teams that are just a year early. Like,
I would prefer
much rather play.
Yes,
yeah, you don't want to play the Thunder.
Prefer the Rockets to win out and get that 3 seed.
Yeah,
we saw this with the Thunder in their first year as a really good team. They were the first seed and they lost in the second round to the Mavericks because obviously they had Luka and Kyrie and that team ended up going to the finals. But the experience in clutch games was what gave the Mavericks the edge. And so the Spurs, obviously with a great young core with, Wemby and Castle as their 2 main guys, you just worry a little bit about playoff time in those crunch games. How are they going to perform and step up?
Yeah,
and also, I think a lot of teams don't know this yet. The Rockets kind of were one of those teams throughout the regular season that actually, throughout the crappy Rockets season that it's been, the Spurs have actually been one of those teams that the Rockets have done really well on. They kind of have figured out that if you draw out Wemby, the big tower, the big Eiffel Tower, the real Eiffel Tower, not Rudy Gobert, the Spurs get really small. Now, again, their guards are like 6'4", so it's like, how is that small? But if you look at like a roster like a Denver, like an OKC, or like a Houston, they are so much bigger than them, and they can just go down to the paint. They drive down. They switch.
Yeah.
They get their passes going. Like, that is a team that is beatable because they are young and because they are really small when they don't use Wemby out on the in the interior, rather on the perimeter.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if you're the Nuggets, you've beat them twice in the past 3 weeks. So obviously you want to stay in that 3rd seed and just hope that you get the opportunity to get Jokic versus Wemby, because we know Wemby's a great player, but against a player like Jokic who is very hard to defend. We saw that, I think it was
Jokic and Jamal
2 nights ago.
Yeah.
In the clutch time, in overtime, Jokic just battled out and kept in there, and Wemby wasn't able to keep up.
It was an amazing game, by the way. Like, if you didn't get the chance to watch that one, check that one out, because that was, the battle of the 2 best bigs in the league. And it was electric.
Yeah. I'm sure the Jokic fan in you was like, yes, he got it. He got it.
Honestly, I'm a glazer of both of them.
Oh, my gosh.
So it was just fun to watch both of them. Both of them played well. It's fun to watch stars, guard each other and play, hard against each other and both play well. I thought it was a good matchup. But yeah, I think in the West, it's a pet peeve of mine when teams hyper fixate on that first round matchup and limit their ceiling. I watched the Cavs do it.
I watched the Suns do it 2 seasons ago when they were like, you know what, we'll get the Timberwolves. And then the Timberwolves swept them and made Bradley Beal say, I'll be damned if I lose in the first round and get swept. And then he said at the end of it, I'll be damned.
Yeah. And I watched the Cavs do it 2 years ago as well. They were like, you know what, we're going to sit here at the 4, sit everybody for the last 2 games, sit here at the 4 so we can play the Magic in the first round. Yeah, we go beat the Magic and then get smoked by the Celtics, who go on to win it all. Because we weren't likely to beat the Celtics in the second round. So why are we hampering our ceiling?
I know it's
so always prioritize the ceiling rather than the floor in the playoffs, in my opinion.
For sure. And again, like the same thing goes with the Eastern Conference. It's if you get that that 6 seed matchup against the Raptors, I think that the Raptors have a great team on paper, but they are barbecue chicken as far as the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I don't see how the Raptors can win a postseason series.
I wanted to ask you guys though, before we move on to the next topic, if these injuries with the West, specifically in the Lakers and the Timberwolves, concede in the first round, does the Eastern Conference have the more fun games to watch in the postseason in the first round?
I don't know. I still see the East. Yes, the Hawks are good, but in my opinion, I still see the East very much as a 4-team conference.
I mean, you look at some of these teams, and I'm gonna bring it up right now. Even the Charlotte Hornets. And let's put on our headphones, gentlemen, because we.
All right, Edward, what do you have for us?
We gotta take from our very own Edward Jang.
Can you help putting them on?
And give me a second. Hold on.
I would say that the first round, this series is going to be very boring.
I would agree, honestly, both
think
sides.
The West or both sides?
Both. I think Knicks-Hawks is probably going to be the best series. Or not Cavs or Knicks-Hawks will probably be the best series. Outside of that, you have pretty much 5 series that you think are washes one team's away. So
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, fair. Let's see what Edward said about his Charlotte Hornets. That he's been pretty good this year on predicting on how well they were going to be doing.
Please tell me he's not saying they're going to go beat the Pistons.
What's up, boys? Can't make it to the pod today, but the good news is the Hornets have won 4 in a row. Will they ever lose again? More importantly, they're in that 8th seed. They're only half a game back from the 6th seed. It's the 4th quarter against the Celtics right now, 1-point game. If they win this game, not only will they be propelled up into that 6th seed, they will prove that they can beat the best teams in the East. We've already seen them. Their improvements as of late, they're not losing to those bad teams in the East anymore. The problem is, can they get over the hump and beat the Celtics and beat the Knicks and beat the Pistons? These top teams in the East, can they get over and beat the Cavs, whatever? Can they get
There
over
we
that?
go.
I saw that.
I was waiting on it.
Yeah. So wow. He's not wrong, in my opinion, because
He's
this
very
Hornets team could actually be nasty in this postseason. I think they could give a run for their money in the East right now for not for a first round knockout for any of these major teams, but I mean if you, for example, got a first round matchup against the Celtics, who I think the Celtics are obviously the better team.
Yeah.
But the Charlotte Hornets played extraordinarily similar to the way that those Boston Celtics teams were really playing well the last couple seasons.
Yeah.
Especially with the way that Concaniple's been playing, and especially the way that LaMelo Ball's actually been hooping.
Yeah.
They run fast, and Grant Williams, he's been in that system before in Boston, so he kind of knows about their sets. And honestly, I made this prediction on the Talk of Troy, the main show, but I think that the main player that will be criticized this postseason will be Jason Tatum. I think that Jason Tatum is going to get turncoated by the fans of Boston. Their prized pony, the guy that they raised, the guys that they made he's only 19 jokes. He is going to put up stinkers on stinkers on stinkers in this postseason, and it's not going to be his fault necessarily, but he is going to be expected to shoot the ball at a high clip at an efficient rate. He can't do it, and it's going to hurt the Celtics, and it's going to even make Boston fans scream, "Bench Tatum! Bench Tatum and let Jalen save him." That's what I think is going to happen this postseason, and if they face against the Hornets, you might see flashes of that, because I don't know how confident I am with the Boston Celtics playing Jason Tatum in playoff basketball this soon after Achilles tear, and he's playing good. But in reality, those shooting splits, he's shooting 40% from the field and 32% from 3. That is barely 32%. It's like 29%. So these numbers are not going to elevate in the same way in the postseason. And I think he's gonna get turncoated, man. I think it's gonna be a betrayal, one of the worst betrayals from fan bases of all time.
I think I could see it happening, but I think there's one reason it won't, and I think that reason is Joe Mazzulla. I think if it was any other head coach, I agree. But Joe Mazzulla is not the kind of guy to get stubborn and just keep playing Jason Tatum if he's not playing well. Jason Tatum or Joe Mazzulla will bench Tatum. He's the kind of coach that will do that. He'll know how to get out of Tatum what they need. And that I think with what they showed this year without Tatum, it's that especially in this Eastern Conference, maybe come finals, it's different. But in the Eastern Conference, I don't think they necessarily need a 30-point per game Jason Tatum. I think they need an efficient 15, 20-point per game Jason Tatum, and then let Jaylen Brown be the guy who they trust to go for the 30 to 40s.
Well, Jaylen Brown has to be your guy for sure. I'm just worried that Jason is going to get in his head just like Clay did, and I think that fans are going to betray him just like Clay did.
I could see it. I think
you saw the way that he played in that last game. His last game as a Warrior, donut. He put up a donut in the play-in tournament. And I think that it's not the same stakes. You have multiple games in a series, but I can see Jason Tatum just having a terrible postseason this year, and it's not his fault, but fans will criticize him for it. And honestly, the media will clown him. I'm predicting that he will be the most hated. And I don't think it's not a fair situation at all. And Jason Tatum and Joe Mazzulla, they probably are on the same page that he knows that he can't just bring that oomph to this team right now in the postseason. But there's going to be moments where he's going to be wanting that ball, and fans are going to be thinking, why isn't Jason Tatum getting the ball? It's going to be like, well, that's why. Because he's bricking. Because he's hitting the front iron. Because he's not really driving to the hoop. Because he can't really explode off that leg anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the media, and honestly, I think even Boston fans are going to defend him.
I disagree. I think Boston fans, especially, I think they're going to be ruthless.
I think he's earned it.
Boston fans are rough to players that haven't earned it, like you
I
said.
agree. I think he's earned it.
This has been their best player since he was there as a rookie, and he brought them a championship not that long ago.
I agree.
2 seasons ago.
I think if
they won.
Yeah, but if you look at those years,
they won a championship, though.
if you look at those years that he went to the finals and even won a championship, Jason Tatum wasn't that guy. He would in the first finals that they went against the Warriors in 22. Terrible ring, by the way. What the Celtics? Jason Tatum was not performing well, and Jaylen Brown was. And then the next time
they were both
made the
terrible.
finals.
They were both terrible.
No. That year, Jaylen Brown was going to be the only MVP on that team. After maybe Drew Holiday, but that year, Drew Holiday wasn't even on that team yet. It was later in 2024 where I think Drew Holiday actually had an argument for Finals MVP, but it went to Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum didn't do well again. And I think if they see him just stink it up even more, it's just going to reinforce that Jason's not the answer. It's Jaylen. And they're going to kind of be like Andy in Toy Story where it's like, I don't want to play with you anymore.
I think most of the fans, and honestly, I think the media came to the point, like, I think it's a stupid argument now between the Jaylen and Jason. But the Celtics need them both to be a true championship team.
They're honestly on the same level.
And they are...
Not right now.
They are incredible at
not right now.
I think in terms of duos, I don't know if we've ever seen a duo coexist as well as Brown and Tatum.
I'd say Jokic and Murray have better coexisting.
I think in the playoffs, they have a nice two-man game, but like, you know, they don't even compete in the regular season to where Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have.
Oh, no.
Jamal Murray,
the Nuggets don't compete?
I'm saying the duo themselves don't compete on the level of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in the regular season. I don't think that's a hot take at all. Jamal Murray is not nearly the caliber of player as either of them.
But the regular season doesn't really matter when it comes to the postseason.
Tatum's been back for a month.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's his fault, but I'm saying that Celtics fans are not going
They're
to
not going to turn on him after...
Yes, they will.
They will. He has been their franchise player. He is a...
You know who else was supposed to be their
one of the
franchise
all-time
player?
Celtics.
Kyrie.
No.
Kyrie Irving.
No, Tatum is homegrown.
He didn't bring him a championship. He wasn't homegrown.
He didn't bring him a championship.
He hated Boston fans.
But
Tatum loves Boston.
Boston always hated Kyrie.
First of all, Jason Tatum wanted to be a Laker when he was a rookie.
But he was 19 years old.
9 years ago.
He was 19 years old. If he really wanted to be a Laker, he would have signed with the Lakers.
He would have, but we all know Rob Pelinka is a terrible GM, so that's not going to happen. But
nonetheless, Tatum is homegrown. He is homegrown. The Celtics are one of the best franchises in the league. And what do really good franchises like? Drafting a player, watching them grow into a superstar, and bringing a championship home. That is exactly what he did.
They're one of the best franchises, but do they have one of the best fan bases in the league?
They have a very loyal fan base.
But that's not what I asked. I asked,
think,
are their fans forgiving when their players don't perform well?
I think it depends on the player. I think
Yes,
absolutely depends on the player.
Absolutely.
Jason Tatum can absolutely get away with it. Jaylen Brown, I think, has earned the right.
So they were forgiving when Kyrie Irving left
because he didn't do anything for them.
Kyrie,
he blew out his knee.
He didn't earn their respect.
Kyrie was never respected in his first.
Kyrie didn't have a
first-
chance to earn that respect because by the time that he came back, the Celtics, the young core of Jaylen and Jason, they were kind of finding their own motion.
No, it's because Kyrie promised an extension before the season and then left them even knowing before the year started, he and Kevin Durant were going to Brooklyn. He was never a Celtic. He was never part of their culture and their fan base. Tatum was drafted there and has grown into Boston. It is so much different.
All right.
They never truly accepted Kyrie because he never gave them the chance to. Tatum has been there and been accepted. And they will not turn their back on their franchise star, the best Celtic in what?
Isaiah Thomas.
The best Celtic.
Isaiah Thomas.
The fans did not turn on
Their franchise
the
did.
franchise did, but the fans did not. Fans love Isaiah Thomas. Celtics fans still love Isaiah Thomas. They've always loved
they
Isaiah
don't,
Thomas.
but they don't regret losing on him now.
No, because why would they? They
got a
traded him.
championship.
They
After
traded
he-
him to the Cavs, where he was atrocious. It was so obvious his career was done. First of all, awful move by the Cavs. Blah blah blah.
Great trade.
No team would go see a guy leave who, yes, he played amazing for them. No team would see a guy leave, underperform chronically, be just genuinely awful on his new team, and then say, "Oh, we should have never traded him." No rational fan is ever going to say that.
The Bulls when Derrick Rose got traded. Derrick Rose is Chicago.
Because he wasn't getting
They
paid.
didn't care about him not doing well anymore. They just wanted him on the team.
Because he wasn't, but he wasn't getting paid like Isaiah Thomas was.
I mean, at the time, contracts weren't similar. Now,
No. But Derrick Rose was not a highly paid player after his MVP season
Okay.
because he got hurt before it.
I mean, Bulls
Right.
fans still
But-
love Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
no,
it is.
they do. But I'm saying that they still wanted him even at his worst. For the Celtics fans that are out there, when they have their
Well, the
own
Bulls and Celtics fans are very different. The Celtics, like we were saying before, are not super forgiving. And they're a franchise that has seen a lot of championships, so they want their front office to chase rings. And that's exactly what the Celtics did.
I also think
that trade ended up down the road giving them this championship.
there's also something to be said for Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is a very unique case also because I don't think you can look at another NBA player and say he's as beloved by an entire city as Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is a bigger deal in Chicago than Michael Jordan. And
for sure.
Because
That's for me. That's not a debate.
he's grown up in Chicago. Chicago loves him. Chicago loves their own. It's part of Chicago's culture. Yes, that's a different story. There's no other NBA team that's going to look at a guy who they traded away and who just, they fleeced another team and then say we should have kept him. That just doesn't happen because there's not that doesn't mean the fan base is disloyal. That I don't think that speaks on the fan base. Yes, the Boston fan base can be toxic, but that's
They're more
almost
than toxic.
always
they're
always
more
to
than
new
toxic.
players.
But Tatum is the best Celtic since Larry Bird. I think we can agree on that. Can we not?
no
Who's better?
I think
teammate is.
Or maybe since Paul Pierce.
he's better. I think he's better than Paul Pierce. I don't know if he's.
Paul Pierce. I mean, KG only had really one good year on the Celtics.
Yeah.
I mean, no to Isaiah Thomas, respect. No to Kemba Walker. No to Kyrie Irving.
So he's
Yeah,
been
I think it might be.
he is
but-
their
but
franchise
it's-
player, and he's been the best player for them.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying it'll be even worse when they turn.
But
when
they won't
turn
turn on
on.
because he is their franchise player, and they are a loyal fan base. They are rude and not forgiving to players like who's a good example? I can't think of it.
I mean, Kyrie is a good example. Yes, they hate Kyrie, but there's
hate-
so many
they hate-
reasons to hate Kyrie.
Do you know who Celtics fans love? Marcus Smart.
But Marcus Smart, the difference between Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum is that Marcus Smart never had the expectancy to be the guy.
Yeah.
Jason, and
But
that's
he
the thing
failed and had terrible times, and they still had his back because he was homegrown and he
Marcus
was
Smart
beloved
also
by the
has
franchise.
more hardware than Jason Tatum does in that sense. Besides,
he's not
the NBA
he's not a better
championship.
player.
He's not a better player, but he won DPOY as a guard. Before that, it was Gary Payton, and that's a different kind of love. That grit and grind love is different.
I think
Jason
their love
Tatum-
for Jason Tatum is they love Jason Tatum.
They love it. He is the franchise player.
And there's an argument for Jaylen Brown is a better player, yes, but he's not the franchise. There's a difference.
He's not as beloved as Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum is absolutely more beloved.
and he might be right
All
now,
Celtics fans.
but I'm telling you that is going to change.
Do you think they would turn on Jaylen Brown if Jaylen Brown had a stinker playoffs?
He's been mocked for not having a left hand, even though he's had surgeries in that left.
But do you think
years.
Celtics fans would turn on him? Because
No.
the left-hand jokes are a lot of NBA
Most
Twitter
NBA
and stuff.
fans, yeah.
So you don't think Celtics fans would turn on Jaylen?
No, not for Jalen.
why would they turn
not
on Jason?
Not for Jalen because Jalen. First of all, Jalen has always been consistent. Jason has not showcased that he can be that.
I
That's
consistent.
not true.
no.
Jalen's been
Jalen has had struggled.
Jalen has had more MVP caliber seasons than Jason Tatum has. At this point,
Oh no,
at this
absolutely
point,
not.
Since when was the last time that Jason?
This is his first. This is his first one.
This is his first
No, I know.
MVP caliber
and
season.
how many does Jason
Jason
Tatum
Tatum
have?
finished top 5 in voting, what, twice?
When?
2 or 3 times.
When?
The year they won the championship and the year they went to the.
when they had Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White,
What are you doing?
Jalen Brown,
Jalen Brown was on that team. Why wasn't Jalen Brown in that?
He finished
conversation?
4th in MVP voting.
Man,
for championship
Howard
year.
finished in 4th in MVP voting.
No,
on that team.
Jalen Brown didn't.
Bro.
Jalen Brown didn't. What do you want him to do about it?
The Finals MVP.
Yeah, because he played well in the finals.
And that's where it matters. The final stage, the show. That's where it matters.
I don't think you can say those 7 games are more important. Yes, I agree.
Of course,
but the regular season does not.
banner.
But Tatum was
The
more
regular season
consistent
does not
throughout the
matter.
entirety of the season.
he was
The regular
consistent through the
season is not
postseason.
just something you throw away.
What? A lot of people do that to your boy James Harden. People do that to James Harden.
So do all the MVPs that every player ever won. Oh, it doesn't matter because it was in the regular season.
of course not. Of course not.
Don't matter now.
MVPs are a regular season award.
Of course not. But what I'm saying is that Jason hasn't even gotten that, and he hasn't gotten a Finals MVP. So what does Celtics fans? What is the one thing that is holding them back from turncoating him if Jason Tatum doesn't do well again?
The fact that he still brought them a championship as the franchise guy, and yeah, maybe he didn't perform.
He didn't win the
better
MVP.
in that series, yes, but he was still the key guy. He's still the guy that defenses key in on and come postseason time. And other NBA teams still focus more on Jason Tatum. He has a more gravity than Jalen Brown, and that says something because coaches know what they're talking about. And so yeah,
Sure.
Jalen Brown is great has been great in the postseason because a lot of players can be great when someone's more focused on stopping their 1A guy.
But the thing is that Jason Tatum has been a great 1A guy for a majority of the postseason. But when it comes down to this postseason, what I'm talking about today, he's not going to perform well.
I agree, but I just don't think the fans will care.
Yes, they will.
They
Celtics
won't.
fans
You will
care more than any other fan in the world.
I guarantee you.
Sixers fans, Celtics fans are the most toxic fans. in the NBA.
LA,
Utah.
Lakers.
Utah.
Lakers are number 1 by a lot. But
Lakers, yes, for different reasons. But the Celtics fans have literally. You know what they did to Bill Russell?
oh my god.
You know what they did back then?
They were racist.
Yes, and they still
They were
are.
racist.
And they still are. LeBron hates people in Boston. He's talked about it. It's not a
We're
fun
going
town
back to
be
the
in.
60s.
If you are an athlete today,
my goodness.
Donovan Mitchell
NBA is
doesn't like
so
the
much
Celtics
less
fan base.
racist today than it was in the 60s. This is not comparable.
No.
But even 5 years ago shouldn't be any difference maker between 60 years ago, but it is. It is. You have fans in Boston that are constantly berating these athletes, treating them like garbage.
You have that
But
everywhere.
not the franchise player.
Fans treat players like shit, like crap, everywhere. And genuinely, it is everywhere. We see NBA Twitter is just genuinely
It's
worst.
ruthless.
It's the worst.
It's ruthless.
on earth.
Yes.
But I can guarantee you what is going to happen come postseason. I agree that Jason Tatum will
He's going to put
probably
up
underperform.
stinkers.
I think he will underperform. But and NBA Twitter is going to go nuts, and you're going to see
That's what I'm saying.
all the
That was my take. That
you're
was
gonna
the
say
point what I was
but
saying.
you're gonna see all the Celtics fans come out and say he just came back from an Achilles. He's not even supposed to be playing yet. He's not even supposed to
you
be
don't
playing
think
yet.
have
He's not
his
even supposed to be
back?
playing yet. You're gonna see
they're
that everywhere.
They're going to be saying that only when they lose. Only when they lose. But during when the games are happening, when Jason Tatum is actually stinking up, they're going to be hitting up those Instagram comment sections. They're going to be like, Joe, take Tatum out of the game. Take Tatum out of the game. And that's what I'm saying. It's not about the end result because everybody wants to use that as the scapegoat. He's injured. He's not coming off of an Achilles this well. That's fine. We give that the expectancy norm. But when the games are happening in live time, that's when the Celtics fans are going to really show their true colors. That is what I'm saying.
I think the reaction from Celtics fans is going to be a lot more protective of Jason Tatum.
I hope
And
that
they're
they
going to
are.
protect him from. I think the reaction from the NBA and NBA Twitter and fans of other teams is going to be ruthless. I agree with that. I just
Yes.
think
Okay.
I just think the Celtics fans are going to be the ones coming in saying, "Well, what do you want him to do? He just can't. He's not even supposed to be back yet. You know, most players wouldn't even be playing. So blah 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 blah." And you know what? That's fair. I think that's totally fair.
It is fair. It is fair. And that's what I would do if I was a Celtics fan, but I'm not. and neither of us.
I mean, he's going to underperform, but at the same time, like, he's going to get a little bit of rest from the play-in to the start of the playoffs. And who knows? Who knows if he is truly going out there every night and giving it his best?
And
honestly.
really, if we're all saying he's going to underperform, how high are the expectations for Jason Tatum really? I don't think
they're not supposed to be high.
Fans turn on players when the expectations are high and they underperform. Right now, how high can Celtics fans' expectations be for their star?
For Celtics fans, they believe that they're going to the finals.
Yes, I agree, but I don't think
they could still do that. I think with Tatum playing like this,
Tatum could have never come back, and they were still, in my opinion, the best team in the East.
They are the best team in the East right now,
and I don't think they even needed Tatum for that to happen. So
I don't think that'll happen.
I think that, yes, I still think Jason Tatum coming back is still only a positive for the Celtics. At the very least,
he's a positive right now.
Away from Jaylen Brown.
Yes.
At the very least, which is at a base level, still very positive.
It's very great. It's very great, yes. But that is the thing that is going to hurt them. That is the thing that is going to hurt them when simply the matchups are just not matching. When Jason Tatum just he can't put on that fourth switch. He can't put it in that fifth gear. Like,
they have so many guys who can though.
Yes, we talked about Derek White.
I mean, Derek White can absolutely do it.
Derek White could do it.
He can absolutely.
He could be the reason why Jason doesn't get out of the scrutiny, because he carries him and acts like the second best player.
I don't think that's something like that we can rule out. I think Derek White. I honestly do expect Derek White to come out and average at least 20 in this postseason.
No, for sure. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not expecting Jason Tatum to necessarily be the first or the second best player.
Then why would he get criticized so heavily?
Because that is the sets that they're running. They're running no matter what.
I disagree.
Even Jason
Mazzulla won't. I don't think
he's not going to put his star player in a position like that.
No,
he knows he can't do it because
But then what?
The whole organization brought Tatum back. Those doctors know exactly how much strength he has in his Achilles, how much time he needs to fully be healthy. We know he's not 100% healthy right now. We know that. They know that. And so they're not going to be stupid about this and rush their star player back for no reason. We see how he's playing right. I mean, they're not going to change how he's playing right now into the postseason and make him the first option, rush him into being the first option.
I'm not saying that. But when you are not the coach playing on the court, when you are a player like Jason Tatum, who still hasn't won a Finals MVP, who still hasn't won an MVP, he has that mentality that he wants to prove himself. People think that he's corny. Like, he wants to be able to show out and be like, I came off an Achilles tear and I took us to the finals, and maybe not in the way that I was the best guy, but I at least had my foot stamped into this team this season. And that's the stuff that's going to come out. That's just not going to be able to translate well. It's the same thing that happened with
Mazzulla's still in charge of the sets that they're running. He's still in charge of the minutes allocation. We've seen him.
You don't think that Steve Kerr was in charge of the sets when Clay?
Yeah, but Steve Kerr's not the guy that Joe Mazzulla is. Steve Kerr will play his guys through a slump. Joe Mazzulla doesn't. Joe Mazzulla, we've seen it before. They've asked him. When they're not rebounding, they were like, "What are you going to do?" I'm going to put 5 guys out there who are rebound. I don't care who it is. He will play any. We might see a playoff lineup where it's Walsh and Shireman and Neemias Queta and Derek White and, I don't know, Peyton Pritchard.
He plays the guys who are having the best game right then and there.
He doesn't care what the name is. He cares what the production is.
If you're Steve Kerr, you're going to put up Pajemski for no reason. But
I think, first of all, he has more options than the Warriors did, obviously. And I don't think it's a fair 1-to-1 because that Warriors team was just not nearly as good. They were, in the play-in rather than a 2 seed. But Joe Mazzulla is just not the coach Steve Kerr is. He's, in my opinion, a far better coach. I think Joe Mazzulla is the best coach in the NBA.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I don't even think that Steve Kerr is the coach of the Warriors. I think that's Draymond Green. Draymond Green is the real coach of the Warriors, and you've seen that in
beating his own players.
I mean, yeah, he disciplines them in their own way, but Steve Kerr didn't have any issue with that apparently. So, I mean, it's not like he has any motion or any Eric Spoelstra or any Phil. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Oh my gosh, the coach of the Bulls and the coach of the Lakers for so many seasons.
Like the Bulls, like 6 feet.
Yeah.
Or Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson. I don't know why I was forgetting that legendary name. Phil Jackson. He's not the kind of guy that would actually have a problem with their players not doing what they're supposed to, like Draymond Green is. But Draymond Green, he don't care. He doesn't respect Steve Kerr. But that's not the conversation that we're having. This next conversation that we're gonna have is actually going to roll perfectly into this Warriors thing. We're going to give our 2025 to 2026 play-in predictions because the tournament is next week. First taste of postseason basketball, pretty exciting. This is currently today. This is what the play-in would be if the playoffs started today. I'm going to say it right now. The Warriors are not making the playoffs this season. Your reaction, Liam?
It's valid.
Okay.
I mean, they are clearly a Steph-oriented team. They did almost beat the Rockets the other night in his first game back. But
well, I mean, beating the Rockets, one of the worst fourth quarter teams, that doesn't really surprise me, Yeah. So that's not. I mean,
really they're still impressive, but that's fine. They're gonna lose, or they could beat the Blazers in that game. I'm gonna say that, but I think they do get outmatched by the Clippers and the Suns. So I think they are going to lose in that game to go to the playoffs. I don't think they are going to lose to the Blazers, but honestly,
so you think they'll stay in that 9-10 matchup? They went out twice.
I think they will play.
Because they're pretty.
The Clippers
they're a couple games back.
Yeah. I think they'll play the Clippers in the final game of the play-in. I think they will lose, but that's fine. This is a team that after Jimmy Butler went down, this team's expectations just crashed.
Of course,
that's fine. I think the Warriors, honestly, if they should have been tanking far before that. To be quite honest, they should have been trying to get.
I thought that was unethical.
They should have. They should be trying to get a great draft pick. We'll see if they get lucky in the lottery or not. And this is a great draft class, especially in that beginning and in the lottery. And if they somehow luck out, get a good draft pick and buckle up for next year when Jimmy's back in the first 2 or so months of the season. Kristaps is playing okay. He's a good addition. We'll see if he's still on the team next year. But this is just not a team that seems ready at all. And Steph just coming back right now, I don't think they have enough time to really get back into the groove of things before the play-in, which is obviously a week from today.
Yeah. Also, I'm just looking at the live because Ethan in the chat, he just said, look at the chat right now for the Suns Rockets score. Suns 32-13 against the Rockets right now. Yeah. Oh, and that's another point. So they just got a free throw. Yeah, not really surprising to me there. I had a feeling that we were going to lose one of these Suns games this season, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, the trade, it didn't really work out for the Rockets, did it?" Whatever, man. Whatever. But and Pods is 3 for 5 and 3 for 9. Whatever. Does he have a 30-point game?
Terrorist.
I mean, I'm glad that you actually are not rejecting this theory because I think that the Warriors also just didn't have it really lined up for them this year with all the injury luck.
And I think most Warriors fans, honestly, it's hard to watch a game and not root for your team to win. But most Warriors fans, at least, are completely happy with just a lottery pick.
I guess. But, what does it say about Steph that he can't make it out of this play-in tournament?
Well,
he's not getting.
He just got back after a 2-month injury, and his team is a bunch of nobodies. I don't
think it says anything about Steph.
If anyone thinks that this speaks against Steph, you are ridiculous. Tell me how this goes against Steph, please.
I mean, I don't know. I just thought that if you're Steph Curry, the greatest shooter ever, the guy that has the highest gravity in anybody in the league, that it doesn't matter that who you're playing.
What does gravity do when your team sucks?
Yeah. When those other people suck, like Brandon Podziemski and Draymond Green, who can't make a simple floater. He's been practicing for 15 years. How is that on Curry? He is literally the only player on this roster that can get double teamed.
It gives you opportunity. It gives you opportunity just to get an Iverson pick. It gives you an opportunity for you to actually move off the ball more because while Steph Curry, yes, his teammates are not like a Klay Thompson, like a Kevin Durant anymore. It doesn't mean that he can't play against a Blazers team who their best player is Denny Avdija. Like
an all-star.
They're a good young team playing against one of the oldest teams.
All-star that had the 7th most votes in all-star voting, by the way. Yeah, but regardless, if you're a legend like Steph Curry, I'm sorry, but you need to make it out of this play-in tournament.
I disagree completely.
Why? To get swept by the Thunder, who cares? What does it matter?
Well, I mean, it's better for you guys if he doesn't get swept by the Thunder, because then you can say he never got swept in his career.
Okay, but what does it matter if he wins or loses one game in a play-in tournament? He's won 4 rings and he's in his late 30s.
Well,
and he just came back from a 2-month injury. If you are relying on Steph Curry to carry you through the play-in tournament, that speaks to how poorly this roster is constructed.
I mean, if you're Steph Curry that has your best running mate, Draymond Green, who is still playing at a good level right now, and you have Kristaps Porzingis, who went on the court, he's actually really doing well with the Warriors, this team should make it out of the play-in.
He can't play back-to-backs.
Well, you can play one game. That's all that matters.
The Warriors win 1 out of every 3 games without Steph. They're 13-25 without Steph this year. They're not even a play-in team if he doesn't.
Did you watch his first game back? He almost single-handedly brought them back and won them that game.
Yeah, and if he's that good, then he should be that good against a worse team like the 9th, 7th, and 8th seed.
You know what a good team does? LeBron James is in his 40s. And you know what the Lakers did? They made him the 3rd best player on the team. That's how you build around an old legend. Steph Curry in his
he passed the torch down to Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and that's the reason why the Lakers did so well.
Who is Steph Curry supposed to pass it to?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody.
That's my whole point. But the Lakers have built to support their old legend, and the Warriors have not. And this late in his career, he's been the 2nd best old player of all time behind the great LeBron James. Can we agree to that?
The 2nd best old player right now amongst LeBron James. I mean, sure, I guess, if we're talking about accolades.
So then why are we expecting him?
Because you just said it.
This old to still carry the team. And what does it matter if he wins a play-in game or not?
Well, the play-in game, for what it is, not many people like it, but this is one of the reasons why the Warriors are even still in it. Without it, the Warriors would have had so many losing seasons, or that Curry was a part of, that he just doesn't make the playoffs. And honestly, it's benefited Steph more often because he's able to show up in the postseason.
When has it been his fault that they missed the playoffs? Please tell me.
Well, Sacramento this year potentially.
That was his fault? The Sacramento game?
I mean,
he scored 30 and that his running mate Klay Thompson was 0 for 10 in that game? That was his fault?
Again, you're playing against
the year before that, he had a dud of a team after carrying them to a championship. They were a middling team.
Okay,
no. Let me finish this. Because Klay Thompson was terrible that season. Jordan Poole was so bad that season that after signing a 4-year contract, they kicked him out of the team. Draymond Green punched his teammate and forgot who he was the entire season. And you know what Steph Curry did in a Game 7 on the road? He scored 50 points.
Against who? De'Aaron Fox
the 3rd seed that year
with a fractured hand.
One of the best offenses. The best offense in the league. Yes, I understand what you're getting at. The greats win these games. Blah blah.
You guys just said it to me last week that the greats have to win these games, just like how Kevin Durant.
But now you're saying it. And last week you said last week it's okay to blame the team, but now it's not.
No, but it doesn't matter.
This year,
it doesn't matter. They have to win these games in their prime.
I have to compare it to what
anything against
the standard.
I don't hold anything against Kevin Durant right now because he's old. He's old as dirt. I don't care what he does right now. I don't care what LeBron does right now.
If they lose in the 2nd round, I'm not blaming it on KD unless he literally scores 5 points a night.
Okay.
If he scores mid-20s and they lose, I don't care. He's almost 40.
But these guys that are almost 40 are still some of the best top 10 players in the league.
That speaks to their greatness, yes. But
and so you expect them to do that every night.
Hold it against them for playing, especially a guy like Steph, who's when you're getting older and your team, was a dynasty, right? Then you're staying. The team is likely, you're going to go through periods where the team sucks. No team is just good for, 18 years straight. It just doesn't happen feasibly.
Okay.
And so are you punishing a loyal guy just because he stays with a team that sucks?
It's not his fault that the Warriors have one of the worst development cores in the league.
So then why is it his fault if they lose in the play-in?
Because you're still that guy. To me, Steph Curry, every single opportunity that he's made after his Dynasty Warriors, and when I talk about after the Dynasty Warriors, I'm talking about after Kevin left, he's been the benefactor of teams that have missed their star players in the postseason. What happened in 2022? He played against the Memphis Grizzlies. In game 3, he hits Ja Morant, or game 2, he hits Ja Morant on the butt and it says, we're going to have some fun. What happens in game 3? In game 4. Game 4, Ja Morant and the Grizzlies blow them out by 30. And then in game
No. This is not what happened.
And then in game 4, 5, and 6, Ja Morant was out for that series. Next series,
They didn't blow them out until Ja Morant was out. Game 1, the Warriors win a close game. Game 2, the Grizzlies win a close game. Game 3, the Warriors are winning by 30 when Ja Morant gets injured. Okay, so the Warriors are up 2-1.
they still didn't have their best player. Because you
When? Wait, what?
They still didn't. The Memphis Grizzlies still didn't have their best
They were
player.
down 30 when Ja Morant got injured. They were down 30 when he got injured. So the Warriors are up 2-1 with the only blowout in the series when Ja goes down. The Grizzlies were the best defense in the league that year without Ja Morant.
Yeah.
Tyus Jones was one of the best perimeter defenders in the league that year.
Tyus Jones can't guard a parked car anymore. He couldn't guard a parked car back then.
Look at the stats. That year, when Ja Morant was not on the court, they had the best defensive rating in basketball.
Not because of Tyus Jones. It was because all the other guys surrounding him.
Okay, but Ja goes down and their defense only gets better. Game 4 is a close game.
Yeah, but what happens to their offense?
What was the only game that they completely dominated the Warriors? Game 5 at home without Ja. If you want,
What would have they done with Ja though? You're missing that point.
But they were down.
But that's a
with
what
Ja.
if. They were also down
Okay,
2-1
fine.
without
The next
Ja.
what if? Second round, they play against the Nuggets. No Jamal Murray.
Okay, but Jamal was out the whole year and the Nuggets were a 6th seed.
We can do this for every ring ever won.
And then Jamal Murray and Jokic are arguably the best duo of all time.
But the Nuggets didn't have Murray all season and were still a 6th seed. You're acting like they were a 3 seed that lost their best player and then the Warriors got to play them. The Nuggets were a decent team that year. And guess what? The Nuggets beat the Warriors 3 times in the regular season, and the Warriors bounced back and almost swept them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
then
that was
they
when
beat
Jamal
the Grizzlies.
Murray was playing.
Then they destroyed the Mavericks, who were favored in that series.
Luka Doncic was dealing with a bad shoulder from rounds 1 and 2.
He destroyed the Suns, so what's your point?
He didn't. Sure, he destroyed the Suns, but those first couple games in the first round, he didn't play. And then,
but then he beat the Suns, so it doesn't matter if he played super well in the second round and then you say in the third round, oh, well, the injury. Well, he just played on one of the best stages ever and dominated. And then guess what? The Warriors go into a finals that they, after losing game 1 at home, after losing game 1, a game they were up 20 points, they had a
I know what you're gonna say.
under 10% chance to win that series. And Steph Curry carried them,
ESPN
and they won
stats.
4 out of the next 5 games.
ESPN stats are atrocious.
Were the Celtics injured?
And the Celtics were not injured, but that was the only uninjured team that they played in the playoffs.
But it's still in the final. We could do this for
the
every
Nuggets
ring
were not
ever won.
injured.
They didn't have their second best player
because he didn't play all season. So the team that they played all
team.
No,
but you can't do that.
You can't do
That's
that.
not the team
because
that they were all
played
year.
all season without
that is the
him,
team-
and that was the team that they earned the 6th seed without him.
If they play that team at full strength, do they win that series?
That was the team.
That was the team.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Tony, you can't just put a guy on it like, are the Thunder, would they really beat the Cavs if the Cavs had Michael Jordan or prime LeBron?
That is not what I'm comparing it to.
But
Jamal
Jamal Murray
player that's on
team.
their roster.
Jamal Murray wasn't on the he didn't play that year, so you can't.
He
just
wasn't
say
a part of the team. And that team earned the 6th seed and won 40 games.
And that speaks to Jokic and how great he is.
Okay, so then they beat Jokic in 5 games.
best player in the
But
world.
Jokic wasn't going to do that without his second best man.
Yeah, but you still beat the best player in the world. It's not something that's just like. That's just not.
That's not that is like Tyrese went down at the end of this season. If the Pacers were magically a 6th or a 5th seed, and then the team that beat them ended up winning the finals, and you say, oh, well, in the first round they played an injured Pacers team. No, they didn't, because Tyrese was out the whole year.
Besides Larry Bird and Steph Curry, the only other player to average 32, 5, and 5 in the postseason is Jamal Murray. You're telling me he's not making a difference in that series?
We're not saying that. That's not what we're saying.
We're not arguing that. We're arguing
because the Nuggets
played without him all year, and we're the 6th seed.
Then they're not playing the Nuggets. And
He was not
6th seed.
You
if
cannot.
Jamal Murray's there the whole time.
You cannot consider Jamal Murray.
They're a better team.
Okay, but
Yes,
you cannot
right.
consider Jamal Murray to be a part of that year's team because he didn't play a single.
What do you want?
That's
What do you want Steph to do? Heal Jamal Murray and go beat him? Like you have to play the team. That's why I'm
played
done with the conversation
the
of Mickey
6th
Ray.
seed.
I don't care about the bubble. I don't care about any of that because you play the team that's in front of you. You beat them.
A
You're
ring,
an NBA
a
champion.
ring is a ring, right?
A ring is a ring.
So then
He got a final. He had one of the dude. They went down 2-1, and in Game 4 on the road,
Game 4.
who had a tie? That is a top 5 finals performance of all time given the circumstances.
Steph Curry's.
Yeah, oh wait, you know what?
Is in Game.
You know what? Who went down at the end of Game 3 with an ankle injury? Steph Curry did. Right? So if he lost, would he get the injury excuse? No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
You would
But
because
then he did that performance injured. So could you say the Warriors were injured? If you're gonna give
and that's
if you're gonna
says,
give
that's-
Luka
that
the
says it's
excuse
great
that he was injured in that series, then give the excuse that the Celtics lost to an injured Warriors if Steph was technically injured on his ankle.
I would give that excuse.
That makes no sense.
I would give that
Play the
excuse.
games.
The difference between the Warriors that season and this season are astronomical. They don't have the same players. They don't have the same
Obviously.
roster. But it doesn't matter when Steph Curry is still in the play-in tournament.
so,
You need to
actually,
expect to win those games.
So the Nuggets, who the Warriors played in the first round, were 5 games worse than the Warriors that year in the regular season. There was a 5-game difference in their record. So how are you going to argue that that was an injured and bad team?
because they didn't have Jamal Murray, the guy that is undoubtedly a part of one of the greatest duos of all time. That is like Jordan without Pippen.
But what I'm telling you right now is the Nuggets played that entire season without Jamal Murray and were 5 games worse than the Warriors. And the Warriors manhandled them in 5 games.
Yeah.
So how can you argue that that was an injured team? Because they were a 48 win.
The
No.
Nuggets Next
They
year
were a
went to the finals and won the championship.
Okay, but
Yeah,
they were still a 48 win team without Jamal Murray having to play a single minute.
Yes, they beat a 48 win. Yes, they beat a 48 win team that year. That's just like that's how it is.
You know, it was a win team this year. The Rockets.
It's the same. It's the same deal.
49.
It's
49.
It's basically the same exact
Gotta be
deal
50.
as having a team. You beat a team that's the 6th seed, and then they sign a free agent and then go win it the next year because they didn't play with Jamal Murray that year. He's not part. Like you can't say that they were an injured team because they got to the point where they were, and they were still the same team playing in the postseason.
But they're nowhere as full strength. Their ceiling is way higher.
Yes,
and and that's what I'm saying.
Games without
the
him.
Warriors didn't play
but nobody-
any of their team's full ceiling.
But nobody is claiming.
They didn't play the Celtics full ceiling?
I'm talking about the road to the Celtics.
Okay, but
the road to the
nobody
Celtics.
is claiming they
It's
go.
like the road-
How did they not play the Mavericks full ceiling?
Well, like I'm saying, the shoulder with Luka Doncic.
He went into Phoenix with that team in Game 7 and dominated the best team in the league that year. You cannot say that if he did that in a 7-game series, that the next series he's magically injured again. Because we just saw him outperform Devin Booker and Chris Paul in that series. So he can't do that and then, the next series, just because they lose, they got injured. No, the Warriors and Steph Curry were the better team and absolutely handled the Mavericks, who were a 52-win team.
And also, no one is claiming that they went and beat the Nuggets as the Nuggets being the best team that they were. That was an earlier round matchup. You're not supposed to beat the eventual champions in the second round. That's not what's supposed to happen.
The Grizzlies were the only team you could argue were completely injured in a series. And even then,
And
the
the
Grizzlies
Sacramento
without
Kings.
Ja Morant
The next season.
were on pace to still win 50 games that year because Ja missed 20 games that year and they still had an 85% winning percentage without him.
Okay.
You cannot argue that they were a bad team.
I'm not saying that they were a bad team, but it's like saying that without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Thunder don't need him. That's completely a fallacy. Both teams
no one
needed their star player.
But that is different circumstances. If Shai missed,
How is it a different circumstance?
because if Shai missed 25 games and the Thunder didn't skip a beat, then you cannot argue that the Grizzlies were better without Ja Morant. But you could argue they were still a very
There was that
competitive.
conversation. There was totally that conversation that year. There was a huge conversation.
So then,
saying
wait.
that
So
the
then, how
Grizzlies
are you
could be better
denying that
without
they had a
them.
Mickey ring?
I'm saying that if you're gonna put that same standard, that same criteria, that it can't be the same if you took Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they're still a great team to beat. They're even a better team with a Ja Morant.
And
That is what I'm
the
saying.
Warriors were winning that series 2-1 with that team at full strength, and were winning by 30 points when Ja went out.
But then, and still, you don't have him for the rest of the series.
Okay, but given the circumstances, the Warriors, it's not like the Warriors were down 0-2 and then came back after Ja went out. They were beating the Grizzlies when Ja was on the court handily in that series, and then he went out. So if you take what we're given with Ja on the court, the Warriors were the better team in that series with Ja on the court.
With Ja on the court for
The Warriors
two
were
of the
the better
games
team.
that out of the six that they
three
played.
of the games.
Three out of the 6 games that they could have played.
Half the series.
They could-
And the Warriors were the better team.
They could have played more. They
Is
could
the
have played-
Thunder
they could
is
have
the
gone to
Thunder
game
ring a
seven.
Mickey ring too?
It definitely has a huge asterisk for sure.
Because like Nuggets were also injured when they played the Nuggets.
Yes, and because
Can we,
Tyrese
can we not
Halliburton
do
was
this
out.
for?
You could do this for
has
every
there not been an
championship in
argument
40
made
years.
this in for every ring we've seen?
Yeah, and I'm saying that you can add that asterisk. It's okay
But you
to.
cannot bring that ring. That is one of the best. That is the best ring of Steph Curry's career, and one of the better rings for an NBA legend. You cannot say that because that ring was so and so that now 5 seasons later, if he doesn't win 2 playing games, that it tarnishes his legacy in
He's
any
38.
sense.
I don't care if a 30-year-old loses in the postseason. Is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's legacy tarnished because he played until he was 41 and he was just trash?
No, not necessarily because Magic Johnson was there and he got to clean.
I mean, last season, think about it. The Warriors beat the 2-seed Rockets in 7 games thanks to Steph Curry.
Right.
And Steph had 15 points in 5 minutes against the Timberwolves in game 1 and then went down. If
Yeah.
the Warriors go to the conference finals that year, which they were favored to, I don't know if they beat the Thunder. We can't speculate about that. But give Steph the opportunity. 1 year ago, we saw him carry this team to what we would have assumed is a conference finals, right? Do we think he beats the Timberwolves in that series?
So that's what the point that I'm saying. You're bringing up the exact same
But
logic
then
and reasoning.
this
that I'm
team
applying
is so much different from last year's team. And so how are you going to say that it's Steph's
one
fault?
game. It is one game. One
Exactly,
game
if you
win.
lose
Exactly,
one game,
one game.
If you lose one game, that just happens. That's the NBA. Are we holding it against LeBron if the Lakers lose this series? Does this tarnish his legacy?
It's another sweep in his career.
Well,
It's
we don't
just-
even know if he's gotten swept yet. I'm just saying if they lose the series because LeBron lost in the first round, it tarnishes his legacy.
Is it his fault?
He could have retired and not dealt with this.
Is it his fault that the 2 best players on his team went down? Could you truly make an argument that this somehow affects LeBron James' legacy if he loses to the Rockets in 4 games?
If he loses to the Rockets in 4 games, LeBron James in a total sweep.
Yeah.
He's 41. Nobody cares.
Wait. Go. Total sweep.
He needs 1 game. 1 game.
What does it matter?
1 game.
Why?
2 games. Why?
Why?
Because this Rockets team is atrocious.
So was the Lakers without Luka and Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Why would he
this
be
Rockets
expected-
team is arguably worse.
No.
Absolutely. If
No.
you play a full season,
This
of the
the
Lakers,
same Rockets team.
If you play a full season of the Lakers without Luka and Austin Reeves, they're not a playing team.
This Rockets team was a 3 seed, and yes, there was no Fred VanVleet, but this was a 3 seed before Kevin Durant showed up.
They were the 2 seed, but the 2 seed and difference between the 2 seed and 5 seed that year was 2 games.
Okay, but they were still a high seeded playoff team without Kevin Durant. Then they add Kevin Durant, and yes, they lose Fred VanVleet. That hurts.
They lose Steven Adams as well.
Okay.
One of the best offensive
you added Kevin
rebounders in the
Durant.
league. Yeah.
What is LeBron supposed to do?
LeBron is supposed to win 1 game in that series.
Why? Why does
why does one
make
game
such a
matter?
difference?
What?
For a 41
Why does one game? Why does one game
Why
matter?
does one game matter?
How is this different than the example that you brought up last week when Kevin Durant got swept by Boston?
Because
he couldn't
41 with nobody's on his team.
Because he did have nobodies on his team.
Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
And no. I'm
Wait,
talking
which
about
series
against
are we
the
talking?
Celtics. Against
Hey,
the Celtics.
Kyrie.
He had Kyrie that stank it up and Ben Simmons as his best players.
But he's also at that point in his career, he's not 38, 40 years old.
Yeah, he was 34, 35. And
Yeah.
that career, the
drop off between 35 and 38
They were
is
the
huge.
finals
Yes, but-
favorites coming into that year. Do you understand that?
Steph Curry at 35. Steph Curry at 35 was competing for a ring.
Lakers were finals favorites, but they didn't do anything. They didn't even make the playoffs.
They were not
Yeah,
the finals.
Steph,
They were favored to meet the Nets in the finals in 2022. I can guarantee you, if you look at
But that was
sportsbooks
purely
back then-
because Russell Westbrook was added to the team.
Yes.
The Nets were favored.
and because the Lakers
Nets
missed
were
out on
favored
last year
the-
because Anthony Davis was hurt in their first round.
The Nets
matchup
were
against the
favored
Suns.
because they gave the defending champion Bucks the hardest series of that run, and because the Nets would have won with James Harden on the court. That is a fact, or with Kyrie Irving on the court. But you just cannot argue that at 41 years old, it's not translatable. Kevin Durant was 34, 33 when he got swept,
Yeah.
and that Celtics team was good, but the Nets had a decent season, but they were the 7th seed, okay? The Lakers, if they played a whole season without Luka and Austin Reeves, would not even be a 7th seed.
can I ask you what
There
did
was no expectations.
So at 33, right? What did LeBron do 8 years ago? Oh, he actually beat the Dynasty Warriors.
At 33 years old, yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's a big difference.
2016?
What? Or sorry,
Wait, which season we're
oh,
talking
that's bad math. 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
That's bad math. But he still took his team to the final.
yeah.
Finals.
I mean, the East was a very weak Eastern Conference. that
Okay,
year,
but at 33 years old, LeBron is carrying a poor team. The 28. Also, okay, yeah.
The 2018 Cavs.
2018 Bron. We're not going to discount 2018 Bron.
no.
Durant and LeBron were there at the same age at that point, and Durant got swept, and LeBron went to the finals and got swept.
Yeah, but Kevin Durant didn't have to play the Boston Celtics, LeBron James didn't have to play the Boston Celtics or any of those other teams that season. He had to play against the Indiana Pacers led by Victor Oladipo.
Is Kevin Durant averaging 34, 9, and 9
Yes.
on 54% from the field? No, he's not.
He did it the year before.
The year before.
2018
Yeah,
That
LeBron
year.
is one-
Not that year. Not the year they
That Celtics team had one of the best defenses of all time.
2018 LeBron was one
Of all time, God,
one of
no.
the
No,
greatest
you look
playoff
it
runs
up,
ever.
look
Of
it up.
all time, God, no.
2022 Celtics had one of the best defenses of all time. I'm not joking. Look it up. I promise you. But that LeBron James season was astounding. I'm not denying that. But I'm saying that he just needs to win one game at least. It's just like how Steph Curry needs to win one game. And it's the same
Actually matter in their legacy. That's what I don't understand.
because
How can one game matter?
because it's when you're
One
still
game
the
is
face
long past your prime.
when you're still the faces of the league and when you're still trying to establish what you have left in the tank, you have to prove that you can get past these cruddy games like the play-in tournament. That is something that
At this age?
at this age where Steph Curry is still undoubtedly probably a top 2 point guard in the league. Like
That's just-
you're
that's
saying
credit to
you're
it.
saying
Yeah.
age, but if the difference between the first and the 2 best guards in the league is just him and Shea, then that's
this
pretty
age
good
for
comparison.
these all-time players. There should only be things to add to the legacy and nothing to take away, unless they carried their team to the conference finals and then had a stinker.
Even
That's
that
a different-
Still adds
even that-
still adds
yes.
to your legacy at this point.
But if we're talking about a one-game difference for LeBron, the greatest legacy in all of basketball, one game when he's 41 makes no difference
No,
at all.
Not at all.
At all. And for Steph, a player who is a top 10, arguably top 7 player of all time, arguably the greatest point guard in league history, who is just coming off a 2-month injury, you're going to say if he doesn't make it out of the play-in, it tarnishes legacy. No.
It hurts it a little bit, man.
How?
It hurts it a little
What
bit.
does it hurt? His ability to win?
His ability to triumph, man, to be the guy that he still is today. He's not.
But what does it matter
I understand
if we
he's
all
38 years
know
old.
that on the other side of winning a playoff game or a play-in game is getting dominated by OKC? What does it matter to get to that point if we know what the other side is?
We know that Steph Curry is still capable of these one amazing games, like these one moment amazing games. It still showcases that he's able to do that. It still showcases that next year maybe won't be the last season of their career. I think that just The Warriors need something. They need something to look forward to before they get dominated and go into the
It doesn't make
offseason.
sense that one game would affect their legacy. First of all, sweeps. I also think sweeps are just overblown. First of all, Michael Jordan was swept twice, 24 and 25
Exactly.
years old.
That's what I'm saying.
But that doesn't really yes, people can point to it, but it doesn't really tarnish his legacy. People don't we're not discrediting everything Michael Jordan did because he got swept twice when he was 24 and 25 years old, which is, first of all, when you should be, doing a lot more than when you're at 40 years old.
Absolutely.
For sure.
That's a big difference.
Yes, but also Jordan had an amazing front office to help him out.
Okay, so if Kevin Durant has a stinker of a series, wait, let's do this. If Kevin Durant has a stinker of a series and somehow loses to the Lakers, does that tarnish his legacy?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
But
It makes no sense because that is a whole series. Legends are rated off full playoff series. I don't think they're rated off first rounds. We're talking about conference finals and especially finals is when legends
and
are
single
looked at.
and elimination games. And elimination games.
Play-in games are not elimination
because
games.
literally elimination
But you're a 10th seed. You're not a 3 seed competing for a final.
A play-in team is not realistically competing to go win an NBA Finals. It's just not.
I'm not saying
stakes.
It's not even
the
close.
Miami Heat,
The Miami
who are
Heat
a
did it
play-in
once.
team, they went to the finals
and lost, got smoked.
They got smoked by one of the greatest teams of all time.
Yeah, they got smoked, but
that doesn't change that they couldn't make anything out of the play-in.
Yes, it's possible, but no play-in team is realistically a contender. And an elimination game when you're a
OKC
contender,
in round one.
an elimination
what I'm
game.
saying.
Okay,
I'm
but then
saying-
why does it matter in the elimination game if you know on the other side is a absolute hammer coming
Because
your
why are
way?
you going to concede? Why are you going to take a knee in the play-in tournament?
Steph is not going to concede, but if he loses, it doesn't matter because he wasn't going anywhere in the first place. An elimination game in Game 7 of the conference finals matters because it's a shot to either go home or go to an NBA Finals and compete for a ring. Right now, your elimination game is to go home or to go get smoked by the Thunder.
But you don't know that.
matter.
You don't know that.
You do know that.
You don't know that.
do know that.
You don't know that.
Being on a
absolutely know that.
non-contender, an elimination game is just not the same stakes
What
as
happens?
being on a contender.
What
It's just
happens?
not.
What happens in the first round?
Never has been, never will be.
What happens in the first round if the Warriors play against the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama goes out with an injury? What happens then? Then the tables are turned,
matter.
and the Warriors could go past the first round. Anything can happen in the league. It doesn't matter if you're just saying that like, oh, I shouldn't care because I'm going to lose in the next round. That is a terrible way of
Players
thinking.
shouldn't care. The players should care. But if they lose a basketball game, they have played thousands and thousands and thousands of basketball games in their careers. If you lose a game, it can't tarnish your legacy. One game cannot.
But you
tarnish your
can't just
legacy.
give up. You can't just.
No one's saying he's just going.
He's not going to give up, but if he loses and he tries his best and he does, his team is terrible.
Our friendship.
His team is terrible. What is he supposed to do? with his
No one's
team?
saying Curry should just give up. Like
he is never
go
going
out
to give
there
up. He's one of the best competitors of all time. But what is he supposed to do with this team? Honestly,
He's really supposed to make it out of the play, and I don't know how to tell you this.
Why?
But because he's Stephen Curry. How many times do I have to say it?
He's 38.
he's 38 with one of the worst.
LeBron was 38 when he went to the Western Conference Finals.
Which is why he's the
But he had a-
greatest player of all
He had
time.
a great team. He had Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves was an upcoming star.
But he
Steph
was
Curry
he
has
was
an
still the
Asian
best.
Draymond Green.
But he was still the best player on that team.
Okay, and
Age,
Steph,
when you are producing at and when age doesn't matter in the sense of your numbers going down dramatically, that doesn't matter anymore. You're Steph Curry. You're still averaging the same amount of points that you did 7 years ago.
this is a team sport. It matters.
It is. It is a team sport. I'm not denying that, but I'm saying that Steph Curry is still playing the same way, and he can get out of the play-in tournament. But I don't think that it's going to happen.
How many games did Michael Jordan win at 37?
Has he
Never
even gotten?
winning record.
Did he ever even
Why
play
are
at
we
37?
judging greats?
Yes, he played.
He played with the Wizards.
He played with the Wizards that time.
Why are we
Yeah.
judging greats off playing games? Playing games
Because
don't
they're a part of the league right now. And the way that the play-in is supposed to be supported, it's supposed to work for these teams that can't have an opportunity to compete. Because the teams like the Miami Heat didn't have a chance until they made it out of the play-in. Then they were actually able to go to the NBA Finals. It's not that I'm not saying that I'm a fan of the play-in, but it's a necessary part of the game. And you can't just say that it doesn't matter and that you just have to, throw in the towel.
Okay, but the Warriors are the 10th seed. They have no we have never seen an 8 seed or a 7 seed win an NBA Finals.
No, but
And
you're
the
saying
10
that you,
seed is not going to do it either.
but you need to let the cards play on the deck. That's what I'm saying. When you have a bad hand, you have the options. You have two options. You either fold or you bluff. And when you're Steph Curry, I don't know about you, but every other team, like you said last week, he puts the fear of God into the other teams. And I think that if Steph Curry even has a shot of just making past the first round against the Thunder or against the
doesn't have a
Spurs,
shot.
you want him to make that change.
He doesn't have a shot.
I also would like to point out that the Heat example that you gave, like they gave them a chance to compete. They were a 7 seed,
But they still had to play.
but they're a playoff team regardless.
You're asking a 10
pre-plan,
seed?
during plan, they're a playoff team.
You're asking
a 10 seed and a 7 seed. Are
You're
not different.
asking a 10 seed to beat a 7 seed, and a 7 seed 4 years ago would have been a playoff team. Was good enough to be a playoff team this
Right.
whole year. And so you're asking a 10 seed who years ago would not be a playoff team to rise up and beat a playoff team in a single elimination game. We're not talking about a series here. The reason we use playoff series and finals series is because Legends can have bad games, but they get 7 games to win. They don't get one game. This isn't March Madness.
in 2000 and I believe it was 6 or it was 2000. No, it was 2011. It was 2012. I don't even remember what year it was anymore. But the We Believe Warriors, what did they do? They were the 8th seed. I don't know about you, but any 8th seed doesn't beat the defending champs in round 1. But it happened. So saying that stuff can't happen is ignorant.
Did they go win a finals?
They didn't go win the finals, but they beat the champions.
Who is a better team, those Mavericks or the Thunder right now?
I mean,
The Thunder right now. Don't even.
if we're talking about right now, of course the Thunder, but it doesn't mean that like champions can't be beat. You saw the Nuggets got beat by Rudy Gobert and the Timberwolves.
But that was a good team. That was a 3 seed.
You saw
not a 10
the Celtics get beat by the New York Knicks. So
That was
it's
a 3
still-
seed,
It's still
not a 10 seed.
It's still possible. The Dallas
Not for a 10. Tony, you just gave 2 examples of a 3 seed. Teams that won 50 plus games.
Yes, and I
beating a
gave you an
team that won
and I
3
gave
more
you an
games.
Example
We're
about
talking
a bad
about a
team beating the champions.
We're talking about a 30-game difference.
Yes, and I'm saying that now that those Warriors can make at least something out of the bad deck that they've
Yes,
got.
they can, that doesn't
But they're not
necessarily
expected
mean
to, and
that doesn't
Steph
mean
should not be-
Steph.
They're not expected to, and that's why I don't
shouldn't
have
be
them
held against
making
If
it.
Steph.
they're not expected to do anything or beat anyone, why should it tarnish Steph's legacy when they're not expected to do anything?
Because he needs to try.
He's going to try, but if he loses, what does it matter?
It matters because he couldn't win an elimination game. Steph Curry in elimination games.
It's not an elimination game. It's the play-in, for God's sakes. Not a conference finals.
What is the purpose of a play-in game? You win once, or you get
or the
what?
8th seed.
What do you get if you don't win the play-in game?
The play-in game is
You
to
get eliminated.
to get into the playoffs.
You were a middling team. The teams that missed the play-in are the bottom 10 teams in the league. The Warriors are a bottom
In my
12
mind-
team record-wise.
In my mind,
So what are they supposed to do?
Steph Curry in elimination games has done well maybe once in his career. What was that?
What?
That was 2016. In Game 7, he went out. He showed out. But every single Game 7 that Steph Curry's been a part of, you talk about Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox had a fractured wrist. He didn't play as well as he did. And in 2016 in the finals.
Game 7 when Steph dropped 50?
But you're telling me that De'Aaron Fox, when he has a normal hand, is not making any difference? He's not having a bad and efficient night again? He's doing way better than shooting 5 for 18 or however
He
much.
scored 50.
in
It
elimination
doesn't
games.
matter what De'Aaron Fox did. Steph scored. We're not talking about De'Aaron Fox.
Okay,
Steph scored 50.
KD scored 48 in Game 7, but he still lost.
In an elimination game, Steph Curry is 10-5, 29 points per game, 6-7. I just
6 and 7, right? He's 6.
No. Six rebounds, 7 assists per
Okay,
game.
what is his
29
record in Game 7?
10-5
10 and 5?
in elimination
5.
games.
And against what
Games
teams?
he's lost to.
Against what teams?
He lost to the Clippers when he was young.
He lost to the
Doesn't matter.
Spurs in 2013.
Lost to the Clippers in 2014.
Okay.
Lost to the Cavs in 2016, obviously.
Mhm.
Lost to the Raptors in 2019.
Mhm.
And he lost to the Lakers in 2023.
That's
In
it.
Game 7s? When did they play a Game 7 in 2019? They didn't play a game.
That's an elimination. Game
They're
7
just
is
saying-
not the only elimination.
Sorry.
This is just
Game
elimination games.
Okay.
He's only played 3 Game 7s in his career, if I'm not 4, and he's 2-2. But the first one against the Clippers in 2014, I don't care.
Game 7
2016 against the Cavs, he was awful. 2017 against the Kings, he scored 50. That was
He scored 50, but their best player was hurt. Their opponent's best player was hurt.
Tony.
He played.
He didn't miss a game.
He played, but
Wait,
it doesn't mean that he
didn't miss a game.
James Harden
How-
played in game.
how
7,
bad-
he got 16 points.
How bad of an injury can it be if he didn't miss a game?
He had to play. If he had to play, they weren't going to have a
No.
chance.
If he was in
De'Aaron
such bad,
Fox
no,
is going to
If
play.
he was in such bad health condition that he couldn't play, he wouldn't play.
Yeah, but he putting this into context. When was the last time the Sacramento Kings made it to the playoffs before that season?
Okay,
It took
doesn't
them
matter
20
what they
years.
did before that.
They
What-
needed
what was
win,
that team?
Not just
What
for
was that team?
The Sacramento Kings?
Yes, it doesn't matter what their history is.
Of course it does.
No, it doesn't.
He had the city of Sacramento weighing down on him. He needed to play that game.
Then
And he
step
went
up in the pressure. He didn't.
with a broken wrist. I don't know about you, man, but I can't shoot. If I'm De'Aaron Fox and I have a left hand and my left hand is fractured, I can't really shoot.
Okay, talk
I
about
can't really
Steph Curry, though.
play the game of basketball.
He's had a 15-year career. What else does he need to add to his legacy? Nothing. What does he do? He still adds 15 to game 7.
He needs to prove and show out in an elimination game. In a single
In
elimination
his
game like this.
late 30s in a play-in
Where he's still doing well. Where he's still doing well.
He's
He's
gonna
that
have
just
a
adds
week
to him.
healthy, and we don't even know if he's completely healthy.
He is ramping up. He has said that his knee is structurally the same, but it is a new normal.
Ethan said, "Tony, stop moving the goalposts." I agree, 100%.
The goalpost has stayed the same. It hasn't moved. The needle has always been the same for every player that has been in an elimination game. And Steph Curry has gotten luckier than a lot of these other players. The times that he's had to really show out in elimination games and the other players on the opposite team are injured is when he's doing good.
Okay, but this is not a pure elimination game. We are talking about a 7-game series elimination game in the NBA Finals when we talk about the Cavs, or if we go to the Raptors, a 6-game elimination series in the Finals.
But
We are not talking about a 1-1 off when he's playing with the 10th seed Warriors who have 36 wins.
Okay, what did he do against the Lakers that they played against the play-in? They lost. And then the next game that they
Not
played...
because of him.
And the next game that they played, they lost against Memphis. I don't care if it's the amount of points that he scored. He didn't win that elimination game.
And then the next year he won an NBA Finals.
The next, again, we could go back to that. I'm not getting back into the 2020.
Shout out Daniel Palmore, because I agree, this does feel like an appropriate time to mention that KD scored 0 points in an overtime of Game 7 in 2021 in the conference.
After he played the 5th most minutes in a Game 7, but thank
Still
you,
had
Palmore.
0 in overtime when he could have won the game.
And he still got criticized, and that's why I'm saying Steph Curry still needs to be criticized. Why is the
That was
goalpost?
Game 7
goalpost
in the semifinals, not
be
the
the same.
play-in.
That's not the same.
same scenario.
No, it's not.
Semifinals is not the same as the play-in. when you're
It's
the
not
10th
the same
It's
scenario.
an elimination game.
Yeah, but it's
They're
so different.
It is so astronomically different.
It's so
We are
different.
talking about 7 games of a series where you are able to beat the team, not a one and done where you are the 10th seed. It is so different.
The one and done game is there's no difference between a win and go home game and a one and
Yes,
done
there
game.
is.
Yes, there
When
is.
there's a whole series beforehand, it's different how the game is schemed. Coaches adjust throughout the entire series.
I would argue this.
Every
I would
player
argue
is
the
played
schemes are very
differently.
similar.
No,
The schemes are very similar. The schemes are extremely similar.
No, you get 7 straight games against the same team. You play each other straight for 3 weeks.
There's so
you
many
think that's
adjustments.
similar than just arriving at the
There's
arena?
Tiny adjustment here, tiny adjustment here, tiny adjustment here. That is the beauty of playoff basketball is we see adjustment after adjustment after adjustment, and that doesn't exist in the play-in because it's one game. And yes, I understand it is an
Can we
elimination
let someone
game.
call in right now? There's someone in the chat asking to call in.
Ethan,
This is
213.
ridiculous.
Ethan 213 wants to.
It is not even in the same stratosphere of elimination.
Sorry, looking at the chat now. It was 2007 for the We Believe Warriors.
Also, Benjamin, saying Steph might be top 15 is realistic is an awful take. I'm sorry. Steph is
Not really. Not really.
Do you think Steph is not a clear top 10 player of all time?
No, I'm saying that it's debatable if you don't want to put Steph in the top 10, but he's still top 15 guaranteed.
He's top.
Two of those rings are not nearly as impressive, but it's fine. The 2022 ring and the 2015 ring are not very impressive at all.
The 2022 ring is not impressive.
I already showcased why the 2022 ring is not impressive. He did not play these great teams on the way to play the Celtics.
Who is the better team, though, in that series? The Celtics or the Warriors? Who is the better team overall?
Well,
Who do you
the
think?
Warriors clearly because
Why?
they won.
Why?
Because they won.
Because of who?
Because of Andrew Wiggins almost winning the Finals MVP.
Almost winning. He didn't win it.
Who won it clearly? Who had 43?
Who won the Finals MVP in 2015?
We all know that's a robbery.
Okay.
Finals MVP.
Okay. So it's
Are you
robbery, but who won it?
Andrew Wiggins should have won Finals MVP over
He defended Jason Tatum. He defended the Celtics as
43
best
in game
player.
4 and 36 in game 6.
Let's not act like Andrew Wiggins was a scrub in that Finals.
He's not, but he wasn't Steph Curry.
He was. Oh my.
Oh my God.
I think that Steph Curry. What is happening with the?
You think
Oh no.
the 2018 ring was more impressive than the 2022 ring?
The 2013 ring?
18.
Oh, 2018 ring.
I think that ring is more impressive than 2022.
I mean, no, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that
None of Steph's rings are impressive.
I'm saying that his other rings outside of KD are not impressive either.
How is the 2022 one not impressive? He carried that
He
team
didn't-
to a ring.
He didn't play his first round matchup at full strength. He didn't play his second round matchup at full strength. He didn't play his third round matchup at full strength.
What's an impressive ring? What is an impressive ring?
An impressive ring is when you play the best teams at their full strength throughout the entire postseason.
When does that happen? Ever?
Ever?
There's always injuries. That's how basketball
Did the Thunder
works.
play the best teams at full strength last
No.
year? No.
No, but I'm not saying that
Did the
it was an
Celtics
impressive
play
ring.
the best teams at full strength last year? No.
No, and I'm not saying those are impressive rings either.
We can't just point to the greatest rings of all time and say those are the only impressive rings. They're the greatest
Yes,
for
you can.
a reason.
Yes, you can.
Every ring-
You were the one that said certain rings way heavier than others. Dirk's ring is really heavy, right?
It's one of the greatest rings ever.
Yeah. So
Because he played the best team and beat the best team.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
Steph played the best team in the Celtics and beat the best
He
team.
didn't play the best teams on the way there. So what's the difference?
Yes, he
Dirk
did.
played the best teams
Yes,
on
he
the way there and beat the best team in the finals.
why it's the
That's why
greatest
it's a
run of
great
all
ring.
time.
Wait.
That's
Who
the
do you
greatest
think-
ring.
Who do you think were the best teams in the West that year?
The Thunder,
No. The 2022 year.
the 2022 year.
2022, when they beat the Celtics, who were the best teams in the West that year?
If they were healthy, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets for sure. And
Okay, but the Nuggets were fully healthy that year. We cannot consider Jamal Murray a player on that
consider
team
Jamal Murray.
because they won 50 games without him.
Okay, and what would they have done with him? Oh yeah, they won a championship.
But that's just.
But it's irrelevant because the team without him still won 50 games.
They beat a 50-win team. They're not beating a 60-win team.
Tony, the Suns had the best record in the league that year. The Mavericks beat them in 7, and the Warriors beat them in 5. So they did beat the best teams because the Mavericks beat the best team, and the Warriors beat the team that beat the best team.
The Mavericks and the Warriors are in two different stratospheres as far
The only rings you're impressed by are the greatest rings of all time.
when it comes to impressive rings, when it comes to performance based on not just what you've done individually, but what the opponent was and what you had to face.
How were the Celtics not good?
I'm not saying that they weren't good. They were the only good team that they played against.
That's
All
not
the other
even
teams
close
that
to
they played
true.
against were not good.
So the Suns weren't good.
Were the
Suns good that year?
Suns before they made the finals?
Okay, but I'm asking that season, were they good that year? When they had 64 wins, were they good?
I mean, they weren't good enough to lose to Luka Doncic.
Or were the Mavericks just better and
Brunson.
outplayed them, and then the Warriors outplayed that team?
How good was that Phoenix Suns team if they lost to Luka Doncic by 42
How about
points?
How good were they?
42 points.
How good were the team that
Chris
beat
Paul
them?
cuts the lead to 42 with another 3.
And why was it a 42-point game? Because the Mavericks were better, and they were a good team.
Or just the Suns just sucked.
You can't say that. You cannot.
Why can't we say that?
Because they
Why
won
can't we say that?
64 games. You don't do that by being a bad team.
You can be a 60-win team and be a bad team in the playoffs. You can totally be that. Absolutely.
I don't understand discrediting almost every ring other than the like select few. There's so you're saying like you don't respect a ring since 2011?
That's not what I'm saying.
15 years ago?
I'm saying that it's not as impressive as these people are saying. And that's
What's
what
Steph's
gets
best ring?
his best ring.
His best ring.
His best ring is probably 2017.
No.
His best ring
Because he didn't win Finals MVP that year.
I know.
So then how could it be his best ring if he had a year where he beat the best
Because he
defense in
beat
the league?
because they beat arguably one of the greatest teams of all time in that 2017 Cavs team.
But it wasn't just him. In 2022, he was the sole engine of that team.
He was the engines along with great depth, and I think a lot of people are discrediting how much that Andrew Wiggins had on that had much of a
Andrew Wiggins was great, but he was not close to the Finals MVP.
He was defending their best player in Jason Tatum, and he was locking him up.
Is Steph's
Did he
22 ring
score?
Did Wiggins score? Yes.
He averaged under 20, and Steph averaged 34 in that series.
Okay, but again, that's another reason why Kawhi Leonard won his Finals MVP because he guarded LeBron James. I just don't understand, why are we undervaluing defense? Why are we undervaluing
Because they didn't win because of defense. They won because Steph scored 43 in Game 4, and in Game 6, he put the ring on his finger in the third quarter.
In those games, what did he put up in those games?
They had other players. They had Jaylen Brown. They had Marcus Smart. They had Derek White.
Do you want him to go 1-on-5?
They had Robert Williams. Jason
Want him to
Tatum
go
wasn't the only.
1-on-5?
Tatum still averaged 8 that series.
Somebody said, Ethan said, if he respects the 2017 and 18 rings.
Do you respect the 2017, 2018 rings?
Because as a Warriors fan, those rings are less respectable because he had the greatest team of all time. And yes, he made that team the greatest team of all time. But 2022, he made that ring happen. That doesn't happen without him.
Hold on, I'm getting a call.
Okay.
All right, Ethan.
All right, we got Ethan on the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Am I live? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So, I've been hearing a lot of hypocrisy for the last 30, 35 minutes. I just wanted to get on here to really clarify what the point here is, Tony. So, you're saying that Stephen Curry needs to win a play-in game to...
He needs to win an elimination game.
He needs to win an elimination game. Okay. So I'll give you that this is an elimination game. I'll give you that. What I will ask is, if the Warriors win 2 play-in games, right? Let's say they win both these play-in games and get in as the 8th seed. But Stephen Curry goes 4 of 16 from 3 over the course of these 2 games. Like, does it really matter then?
Like
if he wasn't playing well?
If he puts up stingers?
Like, what? Yeah. Does it really matter? Or let's say he goes for 42 and they lose to the Blazers by 6. Like, I'm trying to understand what the metric is here to keep, like, for him to not lose a piece of his legacy, if that's what we're arguing here.
Because people, like you said, I think, Ben said it. No, Palmore said it. He said, nobody's going to be remembering a 4-time Steph Curry, in the next couple of years or whatever, doesn't win an elimination game. It's like, they're not going to remember that he put up 42. They're going to remember that he lost in that elimination game. And
Are they?
No, they're not. They're going to remember 4 rings, not an elimination game in the Big 26.
Big 26. Okay. I just don't know about that. But I wasn't going to call, really. I wasn't going to disturb you guys until...
No, thank you.
It's a warm welcome.
Hearing about 2022. So I actually take exception to this one because you brought up sports books earlier. I'm pretty sure if you go back to any time in that era, you would see that the Celtics were favored to win those NBA finals.
Yes.
That was the will of the greatest point guard in history to win that. And also, just so we get the facts straight, because you were just rambling about this and rage baiting masterclass on your part, by the way. That was great to watch. It was the Nuggets in round one. It was the Nuggets in round one
in 22.
5,
Oh yeah, okay.
Sweep. It was the Grizzlies in 6. By the way, they did blow out the Warriors in Game 5 when I believe John Morant was already out.
Right.
So, sure. And the Warriors closed that series out because of Game 6 Clay. That's just one example. Why am I bringing up Game 6 Clay? Well, I'll tell you why I'm bringing up Game 6 Clay. Because the Warriors don't have that on this team. There's no remote equivalent to any player like that on this team, Tony. You know this.
Right.
There's no running mate for Stephen Curry on this team, consistently at least. Porzingis on paper is good. Pods on paper,
right.
Well, maybe not even on paper, but
Yeah.
like,
Pods ain't good.
Team. Like, I just don't know why. Like, I'm just concerned.
For sure.
This is such a heavy topic because this team just isn't very good, Tony. You know this.
Oh, I
don't
know
why we're pushing this when you know this team isn't very good.
And I know it's not very good, and I'm glad that you brought up Game 6 Clay and that he doesn't have a running mate. Because that he doesn't have a running mate, he's gotten bailed out in those scenarios where they have faced an elimination.
He got bailed out.
He got bailed out.
He was the catalyst of that finals win in 2022. You know.
Did he get bailed out in the finals, Tony?
He did. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in the elimination games that he has played.
Yes.
That he has played. That is the circumstance where his running mate has bailed him out. Klay Thompson has done that twice in his career.
Which ones?
In 2016, Game 6, and ironically, also in Game 6. It's like Game 6 Klay is like a thing or something.
And then closed it, and then Curry closed it out in Game 7.
Right. But without that historic Game 6, the Thunder win.
Yeah, but without his Game 7, they lose.
No, but they don't even make it. They do not make it to Game 7 without that Game 6 because that's how elimination games work. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, Klay Thompson had 41 in that Game 6.
Hold on,
you want to know how many points Steph Curry had in that game? 31.
Okay.
Did he get bailed out? Or did he and Klay just both torch them and score 72 of 108 points? Did he get bailed out?
Who had more points in that game?
Did he get bailed out?
Klay
Or did he also contribute almost as much as Klay? Did he get bailed out? Because bailed out
considering that Klay scored most of his points in that second half, I would consider that as a bailout.
Not when you score 31, you're bailed out when you underperform. When you go out there and score 31 in an elimination game,
and Steph
you're
Curry
not bailed out.
But Steph Curry wasn't shooting that well like Klay was in the second half.
He was 6 of 14 from 3.
That's really good.
46%.
And what was Klay?
Your teammate's not allowed to have a good game these days? Like, what's going on?
So
what I'm saying is that
that's not a bailout if he also scored. Dude, yes, Klay scored 41 and was the leading catalyst of that game.
Right.
But Steph was right behind him at 31 points.
Shooting 43% from 3.
So just I guess I'll just close with this. You are expecting Stephen Curry to take a team that has had a well below losing record without him. You're expecting him to take that team and win, get out of the play-in and get into the playoffs.
What's been their record with him on the floor this season?
I don't know it off the top of my head.
Hey, my stat nerds, please help me out.
So they're 36-42
Okay.
on the season. They're 13-25 without Steph, meaning they are 23 and 20. They are. Where are they? 23 and. Hold on, one sec. 23 and 17 with Steph.
Okay, so that's a winning record with Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
So he is still capable of doing this without.
But
Jimmy
how many of those 23 games were with Jimmy Butler?
Is that? Well, I thought you just gave you the number.
No, there's nothing like with Jimmy Butler included in this.
Okay. Well, if I knew magically off the top of my head what that number would be, I think it would probably be around like 500, right? So
a middling team.
So
like we've said,
if there's a 50-50 chance that Steph Curry can get out of,
You know that's not how that works, Tony.
if there's
not like
if there is a way that Steph
Uh-huh.
Curry even has a remote chance of beating the 9th, 7th, or 8th seed, he can do it. He's capable
So
of it.
he does have a remote chance, but you realize that this is one of the most injured teams in basketball. You want to you've been putting asterisks on the 2022 Warriors run because they weren't playing teams fully healthy. Well, the Blazers are about to play a non-healthy Warriors.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even make that point.
Well,
like,
for sure.
Warriors are about to play a non-healthy
So
Warriors.
can you
team.
only get
If they
asterisks
can
when
beat the
you
Blazers
win?
or the Clippers? Really, you can
No,
take your pick.
that's
It
not
might
true.
be either of them.
That's not true.
In
it's
any
not- they're
case-
gonna both be playing non-healthy Warriors teams.
Yeah, in any case that deserves an asterisk, this is it.
Pat Spencer played 41 minutes tonight for the Warriors. You think that's a good team?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about like the players can't, only benefit if their team doesn't have injured players. I'm not saying that that's the case because I'm a firm believer that if James Harden and Kyrie Irving are healthy on that 2021 Nets team, they win. And I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that the majority of the media still criticize that.
What do you think of Giannis's ring that year?
I still think there's an asterisk, a huge one.
Oh, don't bring up Giannis.
I think Palmore will get yeah, you're right. But shout out Palmore. But I think that there is still a majority opinion that it's like if you don't win in that elimination game, no matter the circumstance, you're still viewed as you didn't win.
I find it ironic that you called it a majority opinion when 2 of the 3 people I'm watching on the screen disagree with that opinion, and the caller on the phone right now is.
Well, two of those people are Warriors fans. So
Ooh, I'm not no Warriors.
no. You and Ethan.
Okay,
I'm a D1 Warriors hater.
And he's a Cavs fan who has a connection with LeBron James. So of course there's going to be some.
you should hate Steph Curry.
Yeah, but
Why is he defending him?
But I've honestly
I hate the Warriors.
he's been the most Steph Curry glazer that I've seen as a Cavs fan.
No,
So-
he's just
because I watched him destroy us. Like I hate the Warriors, but I'm not an idiot. Like Steph Curry is the greatest point guard to play the game.
I know that.
Then why are you saying his 2022 ring doesn't mean much and is not impressive?
We're having so many different arguments here, by the way.
That's
We gotta end the show.
been a while.
It's
We're having too many.
That's an inherently bad take.
We're also arguing about.
It's not inherently
We're
bad
arguing about
because
2022 impressive is the play-in win. Like, we're arguing like 3 different topics right now.
But yeah, this is
We got to clear up the parameters.
this is
I think.
okay. Tony, I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with this.
Oh, hit me, man.
If we're talking about hypotheticals here, which one would be worse? Stephen Curry losing in this 9-10 play-in matchup, or Kevin Durant getting gentlemen swept in the first round?
I mean, when it comes to Kevin Durant, it's always going to be worse because he's Kevin Durant.
No.
So-
No, that's just not true. It's
Worse.
because he's the
What
force.
do you think is worse? Because
It's
the Rockets aren't healthy either. The Rockets haven't had a point guard all season.
you're right, but I feel like that's a very uncomparable situation because the player that Stephen Curry is viewed as from the public, from the media, is completely different than what Kevin Durant is.
But answer the question.
He's
What's
always
worse.
You it though.
Just answer the question. What's worse?
Your
I
opinion.
would
Steph losing or KD losing? Which one's worse?
I would say it would be KD losing. It would be KD. It would be KD losing.
Obviously, be KD losing.
But you would still look at it a certain way because, as you've mentioned, the Rockets are missing 2 key players, Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams.
Right, but everybody's gonna still
why
say
can't we
you
do it the same way for the Warriors?
Be-
Look how many players they're missing.
because it's not because the Lakers are currently deconstructed and them losing to the Lakers right now would be terrible. It'd be like what happened.
How about if they don't lose to the Lakers? How about if they lose?
Losing to
You
a
could
team that has a
argue-
better record than them shouldn't be terrible.
You could argue without the addition of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, the Lakers are just as good as some of those playing teams. And so, yeah, I would say it's a lot worse. It is true. It is most definitely true.
Tony, the Blazers haven't been in the playoff picture in months.
But they still have probably a better starting 5 than the current Lakers do now. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
You look at that lineup. That's Drew Holiday, Tumani Kamara, Jeremy Grant, Denny Avdia, and Donovan Klingon. That's a really good starting lineup. So I understand.
I don't know about that one, man.
I hear
So
it.
then shouldn't they be expected to beat the Warriors?
They
Who
should
don't have a good lineup? So then why would it be a tarnish on Steph if he can't beat a team that's
because it's a
better?
single elimination game again.
No, we're not. This is never going to break through because it's not an elimination game. It is an elimination game, but it is not even close to the level of a conference finals elimination game.
It's still an elimination.
But it
I'm not even discrediting.
doesn't matter if it's we doesn't matter if we call it an elimination game. It matters the circumstance of the elimination.
But that is your standard of what an elimination game.
No, that's literally probably 99% of NBA fans' standard of elimination is the play-in is not the same as the conference finals.
But it's still an elimination game. No matter which way you put it.
seed versus like a 4 seed or a 3 seed or a 2 seed losing in 7.
It is an elimination game, but not all elimination games are created equal.
Yeah.
Just like rings.
I
Right?
Yes, not all rings are valued the same, but that's not even
Like-
relatable.
we're talking about like injured rosters like this, the whole argument about this Warriors team. You of all people should be understanding about these types of rosters because you literally just said if the Nets were healthy in 2021, they would have gone farther. We wouldn't be talking about KD's shoe size. I was stepping on the line.
Yeah.
Like that was your team, brother. Like you should be understanding of this. You should know this, the type of impact that this has.
For sure. But it's got to be held to the same standard, just like how KD was. He was in an elimination game, and he still lost with that injured roster, and people don't care. And that's what I'm saying is,
But that's a
people
game
still
7 elimination game.
it's still an elimination game. You have to still care about those moments,
No.
and to regard.
Implying that Curry won't care, which is not.
No. I'm saying that
Do we
public
care
needs
about
to
the
care.
NBA Cup elimination games?
The NBA Cup is not the postseason.
But it's an elimination game, no? It's a tournament.
No,
It is. It's a tournament elimination game.
no,
Okay.
no. If you want to,
The play-in is closer to the
Yeah.
NBA Cup than it is to the postseason.
I guess, Ethan, on your last closing remark, because we got to go soon.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to say?
The We Believe Warriors were in 2007, not 2011.
Thank you.
The
Yeah,
Mavs
yeah,
were
yeah.
Not defending.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. Yeah.
Defending finals appearance.
Peace out, man. It was great to hear from you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Ditto.
Thanks, Ethan.
Thank you.
Of course.
We're making a good point.
All right.
What a wonderful extra 30 minutes to this show.
We like to add on a little 30 minutes to just straight beef.
Yeah.
That's,
I love
that's,
this.
That's,
This is way- this
that's
is way
becoming
better
a,
than James.
That's
Yes.
becoming our little stamp to say goodbye.
Exactly.
To y'all. It's just
By the way, guys, just to clarify, we don't hate each other.
no, we all get along great.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe not